Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from Sherwood Forest in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, Hour 1 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. I am your lovable, huggable, mid-morning chat host. Not bad on the eyes either. Eric Von Haessler. Surrounded by the Doctrinaires. Tim Andrews is here. Autumn Fisher is here. Jared Yamamoto is here.
Happy Monday, Eric.
Happy Monday to you. Now, the big thing today, we decided this Colin Kaepernick, he wants to be a sports reporter, so we decided we're going to have an open tryout for him today. So we'll have to make way for that. We've gone to great expense, a lot of catering. What's that? You look at, oh, he's not, has he decided at the last minute he's not going to do it?
Yeah, I think he's gone to some other station.
We spent a lot of money. To allow him to do a tryout.
Yeah, I built a studio in a hotel room. I want y'all to come up here.
Oh, for heaven's
sake.
sake.
So I control the narrative.
I'm bending over backward here for you.
I really don't want to do anything.
You know what I got, the pressure I got from Jay Black? I'm
He's
bringing you in. Oh, hey, don't go after Jay Black.
Why?
Because if you want to take a man's job, you got to smile. You got to smile at him before you take his job.
I'll smile when I'm ready.
You know, not a lot of smiles. We'll get to Colin Kaepernick.
Hand me that joke.
well, we'll get to Colin Kaepernick and his
now what?
Tomfoolery. His tomfoolery. I'll tell you right now, this guy has zero interest in playing in the NFL. But this is not a sports show. I believe that you, Jared Yamamoto,
yes,
have an open micer who has a question about how the show opens. You told me we want to start the show with this. This guy's got a question for you. I'm here to answer questions. Go ahead.
Question for you. Here it is.
Hey, Eric, I got a question for you. It's just something that I've noticed on the show, and I just wanted to get your opinion. Does your mood correlate at all when you say the Von Haessler Doctrine starts? And here's the question. When you say that, and then you go, right now, versus right now, when you right now, does that mean you're in a better mood than you were if you were just to say right now? I just want to know. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it might be possible that we have better shows. You know why? I have. You know how you have those body language experts?
Yeah.
I think we have Mrs. Vandeldorf over here. She is a
yes.
She Mrs. Vandeldorf.
Thank you for having me.
She's a voice inflection analyzer. And so this is it's not something that I noticed, but do you think that when I start the show and I go right now, does that mean I'm going to have a better show?
No, absolutely. What it actually is doing, it's not an indicator of mood, but more an indicator of your attempt to get in a mood. It's as if you are pulling the chain on a lawnmower or some sort of other mechanized device.
This is Vandal Warfer, or whatever your name is.
Yes, that's.
Is it Vandal Warfer?
I am a doctor. But
to you, Eric.
I'm not uptight. I'm not a square. You just like to call me Miss. That's fine.
Ms. Dr. Vandal Warfer.
Sure.
Are
yes.
you basically saying?
I'm also named Deborah.
Deborah, Mrs. Doctor.
Wife, mother, daughter.
All those things.
Yes.
Vandal Warfer. It sounds to me like in a colloquial way we would say that you're saying that when I start to show off right now that I'm kind of I don't know. Sounds to me like you're saying I'm faking it till I make it. Like fake it till you make it.
Exactly. Yes, I think actually when you start the show with just a say right now, you actually are in a more calm, accepting space for yourself. Now, when you do the right now,
yes, Miss Vandal Warfer,
I believe it is more of a attempt to get in a show mood, for instance.
I'm
and I
doubting
feel
myself.
Yes,
I'm
and typically
myself.
within that show, you do attack one of the Doctrinaires at some point in the show.
Yes,
doing
I do.
Something innocuous.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think if we kept a graph or a log of some sort, then we would see this correlation.
I read Vandal Warfer as one time she said that when I do stuff like that, when I have a lot of bravado, it means I don't have the self-esteem, and I'm giving myself a little pep rally. And
Yes.
Vandal Warfare here says that sometimes when I'm doing that and I'm off on the wrong foot, that I tend to not recognize the genius of Autumn Fisher, one of our doctrinaires.
Well,
here.
as well as Tim Andrews and Jerry Moto.
Oh, I didn't take that. Wasn't my takeaway.
Do you know the phrase "money screams, wealth whispers"?
I've never heard that. Is that a phrase?
It is a phrase.
Did you make that up,
amongst
or-
the elite members of society? I guess
Okay.
we do use this phrase.
It was
yes,
her
so-
third book that she wrote. The third book that she wrote. She
Oh, yeah.
wrote that up.
So what is that? Money,
Yes,
money?
listening to the sounds of silence is the
Yeah, I read that book. First sentence, listen closely.
Yes, it's actually interesting. The audio book is completely silent.
Not even hiss. Not even hiss.
No.
It's a work of genius, I tell you.
Yes, there's a room in London that is the most quietest room in the world, and I went to record it to there. I recorded nothing.
All right, Mrs. Dr. Deborah Vandal Warfare.
Yes.
We appreciate your expertise, and I will.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
She's become my my vocal
Coach.
Coach, yeah. And so
Okay.
well, I
If
mean,
you'd like to put that moniker on me, that's fine. The rubes of the world do need to label things, but that's fine.
truth is, there's a little more. There's a little more between us, but I don't want to go there now. You know how vocal analysis has always turned me on.
Other vocal analysts out there listening to our conversation know exactly what's going on between us.
Absolutely.
Let me hear your glottal T.
Listen, pal, we just met. Let's do this.
Headlines for Monday, November 18th.
I heard a story right before I went on, and it was an Ipso poll. Is there Ipso polls? And I said, I think, is that the one where Buttigieg is? Whatever. There was an Ipso poll, and I was wondering this question. I really need a rim shot here, but I don't have one. So just imagine. So I was wondering if an Ipso poll says you're number one, does that mean it's facto that you're number one?
Oh,
Hey,
boy.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Vandal Warfare, you just keep your mouth shut over there.
That was amusing, I must say. I'll give you that, sir. Good one.
She sounds like she snorts when she laughs.
Yeah.
Like the intellectual. You're following them until they laugh, and then they snort. You go, how much can this intellect?
You are very amusing.
Well, we were talking about it. It was a wonderful time at the theater the other night, and there's very good japes on the stage.
Yeah, I can't listen to this guy. He snorts when he laughs. All right.
The world's largest gaming convention, guys, Dreamhack, took over downtown Atlanta on Saturday.
A dream of hacking. A dream of games. I was the opening act there.
I can tell.
Dreamhack.
You were really good.
Thank you very much. Were you at the largest gaming convention? The hack. What is it?
Dreamhack.
Dreamhack. That's right.
Yes.
And did you? Well, we have.
Yeah.
You guys were the winners, male, female. So
yes,
you,
we won.
did you enjoy? What did you enjoy? What is it like? What do you get there and just talk about games?
You game and you talk about them and you play.
Yeah.
It sounds like a
And
good time.
You meet other people. and you play.
Are you guys a couple? Sounds like you guys should.
Oh my God. Well,
Crazy, right?
well, I mean,
Oh wow.
well,
I mean, we did split a Red Bull.
Okay.
yeah. And I didn't even wipe off the mouth part. 'cause-
I ain't either.
Guys, I think there's a spark here. There's something going on.
Is that like kissing? No, it's not.
They've been dating online for over a
Kind
year,
of.
Yeah.
but then met for the first time on
Oh,
Saturday.
yeah. So you guys been dating online for a year, met for the first time at the
Yeah.
game.
I practiced a lot on my hand.
So did I.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I hope you can handle that risque humor.
well,
What do you mean?
You kind of. She said "whoa" twice, which whoa.
So we're really good at Call of Duty.
yeah, yeah. I think I was on a team with him on Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and he did a really good job. I had a sniper rifle, and
that's cool.
he picked it up for me, and he gave it back to me, and he also he brought me back to life a couple times. It was awesome.
I used to mouth to mouth.
Oh well.
Well, it was virtual. It was virtual, Malcolm.
Well, but like I could feel it. Do you know what I mean? Crazy.
This guy's got a dirty mind.
Yesterday we went. Yesterday we played Minecraft and I built. I built.
We only have till noon.
I built a virtual Waffle House and we had breakfast.
And I tamed a wild horse in the game, and I brought it to him, and he was like, "Well, that's awesome."
Wow.
You guys, man, it's really. So, are you gonna take this the leap from virtual love to the real world? Well, I don't know. Go out for dinner, perhaps.
Well, I'm gonna IM her when I get home.
Okay.
Well, and there's some
direct messages.
And she has kick, and I have kick, so we'll be kicking.
Yeah, we're gonna kick it.
And then we're gonna do TikTok.
What is kick? What is it like Twitter or something? What is? I see kick sometimes. What is that?
I'm not exactly sure.
Wow, this is younger than you.
Surprisingly,
you're out of it, old man.
You know what? I get TikTok, but I don't. I haven't really figured kick out.
TikTok is when you want your kids to give all their information and turn it over to the Chinese government.
Basically,
right?
yes.
Right.
Kick is a site. It's not really a site. It's an app where you can chat back and forth. It's kind of like taking the principles of Snapchat and throwing it into an IM program.
Oh,
so you can see a lot of people use it for nefarious purposes.
Such as.
Well, I sent a picture of that.
Oh, wow! You didn't get that. You didn't get a picture. You didn't do that.
No.
It's too soon for that.
No.
You two.
No, we mostly meet on games. You know, like,
memes.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest obstacle in their relationship is that he's a PS4 guy and she's an Xbox One girl.
Yes, but I'll tell you what's really good.
I have all the systems though, so I can switch back and forth. So.
Jared doesn't really know.
He told.
It's okay, Jared.
But he told me that wine stain right over her left eye, he loves it.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, my port wine stain. It's as a baby.
It's cute.
Your mother spilled wine.
Some people think it's shaped like this character in Apex Legends.
Well, that's why you're so popular.
Yeah.
I was like, Rule 34.
Oh my God.
I don't know if we got to the bottom of the dream hack, but I'm glad that it happened here.
Over 30,000 people were at the Georgia World Congress. I didn't even know what was happening.
Good for them. Good for them. They say that the nerds and engineer types, cosplay types, apparently have the freest, greatest sex lives around. Did you know that?
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah, because they're free in their minds.
And you can pretend to be somebody else every time.
And when you don't know what you're doing, you don't know if you're doing it right or wrong, you don't care.
That's true.
Right? So, everybody else has a lot of
there's still something to be said for doing it right, even
Why,
if you're a nerd.
Sure, it's always better.
Hey, I'm Spider-Man.
It's always better, but no matter how good or bad it is, you have a partner that you can immediately start talking about gaming as soon as it's over, and that's always a good idea. Like the idea like, oh, here's the ultimate, for a lot of people. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people, guys, the ultimate would be she's really hot. She's wonderful in every way that counts. And then as soon as we're done, man, does she know about the NFL? I mean, I learned things about fantasy football I never learned from any guy. That's like the perfect lover.
I can't wait to find out what that's like.
Well,
Me too.
What are you? You're a young 34 and a half. It'll happen soon for you, I promise.
I mean, yes. I'm not rushing into anything right now, but I'm open.
Yeah.
White House.
She's open.
Meet me at Borderlands 3.
Yeah, it's a good game.
White House.
You guys got to take this to direct message.
Yeah, I'll kick you later.
Yes.
White House counselor Kellyanne Conway's husband, George, says their marriage can be saved if she leaves the White House.
I love
She's
this.
in a cult,
He says, George Conway, this is the husband. He ends up on MSNBC as an analyst. And he says, do we have his stuff? I
don't think so.
I thought that I sent it to you.
I thought you did too, but
okay. Well, all right. We'll get to it. This is from now on, when we talk about the impeachment, we're going to do it right. And we'll get the proper excitement. Impeachment. Yeah. Ah, yeah. Oh, the inquiry. Like an inquisition. Are you people psyched up for the impeachment? Wow!
Yeah. I can't hear you.
Does anybody remember impeachment?
People showing their chest.
Impeach it pretty for
audience.
Atlanta.
How you doing, Sheboygan?
I'm Wolf Blitzer, and this is Impeachment. So this, what's his name? George Conway? Or whatever? So he is Kellyanne Conway's husband. He hates the president. He's a respected lawyer in D.C., for what that's worth. And he shows up on MSNBC and basically says that this guy's got to be impeached for this. And then, so we don't have either of those, right? Well, I got to come back to it. But then Wolf Blitzer has her on CNN, and she gets all high and mighty because he asked her questions about it. This is and you're going to hear this all day. And I'm sorry to my fellow brethren. I'm sorry to people listening. I don't get this. How you don't think it's a story that the most trusted counselor to the president, I say that now, that she's the most trusted because she's been there since before day one, and she's still there, and nobody thinks she's going anywhere anytime soon. That her husband shows up on MSNBC. How is that not a story? So all day long on talk radio, when you're being told this isn't a story, okay, let's do this thought experiment, Republican friends. Back in the Obama administration, Valerie Jarrett's husband continually goes in public and says, Obama is the worst president of all time. You as a Republican think that's not newsworthy. No one should touch that. Of course news is something you don't expect. Kellyanne Conway's husband going on MSNBC and trashing her boss is something I don't expect. It's news. You may not like it, but it's news and it's worth asking about.
Irreverent.
Entertaining.
Gut-busting.
Very funny. And doesn't toe any party line.
I think it's a great show.
The Von Haessler Doctrine on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, Mr. President, you see that guy got pulled off the air right in the middle of saying something negative about Trump.
I did, and, because I was listening at the time.
Oh,
and,
did you call the owners of the station?
Well, I didn't need it. I just texted. I texted him. I said, get that guy off the air. Look, we need you there. And I can't have this sort of a dissent. So he's gone.
Not a big fan of Craig Silverman, are you?
I don't know his name. Just get rid of him. Get rid of him.
He's speaking badly of the Trump. You have another open mic?
Yes, this guy is...
Is this guy yelling at me?
A little bit.
Is this how we're starting the week, Jared? Is this how we're starting things?
Yeah, well,
right.
I think you set him straight.
All right, we'll see.
I'll tell you what I love about you, Eric Von Haessler.
My looks.
Every single day on your show, you make fun of people calling in, talking about liberal bias creeping in on WSB radio. And you make fun of them and talk about how objective everything is. And you know good and well that they're getting all their news stories from the damn communist Atlanta Journal and Constitution. You know it.
I know it.
You know it.
Eric, you've been busted.
Damn, I thought no one would ever find out the best laid plans. Hey, you know what? You know what?
Yeah.
I want to congratulate Jared Yamamoto because it's a big week around here, except for me. But everybody is all wildly excited because, boy, Atlanta is so lucky that we're getting the next Democrat debate. Yeah! They're going to get up there and talk about how Eric Von Haessler needs to pay more money. If only Eric Von Haessler would do more, we could solve all of our problems. It's all Eric Von Haessler's fault. Oh, excuse me. That's why I'm not going to be listening. But, of course, WSB, being the great radio station, news and talk. I don't know if you've heard the story out there, but 95.5 WSB is Atlanta's news and talk. The news part will be the debate. The talk part, guess who's the newest pundit to be added to the round table? Jared Yamamoto. Yeah.
So Eric, Eric Erickson. So I think Mayor Pete's really getting it.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. It'll be Chris Chandler,
really
Judd
fun.
Hickenbotham, myself, And we will break down the Democrat debate in the WSB Live Lounge from 11 to midnight.
People in there.
Yeah, we'll have panelists, and they'll tell us what they think.
I think that the president should just go ahead and fire them all.
Yeah, just fire everybody.
They need better candidate.
So you think the president of the United States needs to fire all the Democrat candidates?
Yep, they should start from scratch.
Okay. I didn't know the president had that power. But I guess
Well, he should.
Okay. All right. We got UGA news and such, so I thought we'd bring in Jay Black here. So let's do this.
One man to beat. He cuts behind him. 20. He's going to go. 5. Touchdown.
Georgia Bulldogs and sports with Jay Black.
Hey, I know you want to lead with the fact that Kyle Busch won the NASCAR championship yesterday, but
isn't he known as Kyle the?
No. Well, he was.
Oh,
a great man.
Thank heavens.
This is his second. And nobody cares. And even this NASCAR fans, this is the worst season.
Well, he almost got
history.
canceled. Did you hear what he almost said when he won? This is bad.
Oh, he almost said the P word.
I had some tears rolling down my eyes for the last lap and was just like, come on, man, we still got to finish this thing. Don't be such a
Whoops. And then he said sis. Yeah. Then he said sis.
That's worse.
That's well.
No. Listen, I'm so happy that you brought him up. But just one thing I wanted to ask Jay Black here. Is a sports person, correct?
Yes.
Is you a sports person,
Yes,
Jay Black?
indeed.
What happened to Martin Truex Jr.? He was my guy.
This is the erudite.
Yes. And
big fan.
What happened to Hamlin? I mean, please. Oh, jeez.
Hey, we can't talk about that.
That came
here.
up short.
Even this NASCAR fan says.
Oh, you're one of those people that doesn't like the fact that they use fuel.
No. I like that. I like the fact. That doesn't bother me at all. I'm a big racing fan. It's getting boring.
Well, I'm as green as the next person, and I'll shut up after this. But I want you to know that I'm as green as the next person, and I believe in carbon offsets, but just for NASCAR because they use so much.
What about Formula One?
Open-wheeled racing, please.
Okay. He's a snob.
I see.
But reverse snob when it comes to Formula One. He's a NASCAR snob. All right, so people, I know this. I have, and you know what? Don't rush the studio when I tell you this. But I do have friends who are Alabama fans, and they are beside themselves. What exactly? How UGA is now in the top 5, or number 4, right?
Yeah, number 4. That's
and
correct.
so, what were the events that led to that, and why, and what?
Well, all Alabama.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, Jay Black.
Alabama lost to LSU, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
And now that Tua Tagovailoa has a dislocated hip that he'll need surgery for today, which sounds really painful, and apparently it was.
Is he out for the season?
He's out for the season.
Okay, yeah.
So
I think so. Dislocated hip, you'd think.
It
takes some time.
Yeah, their chances to get back in the playoffs seem rather remote. They're going to have their hands full with Auburn.
Who's behind
in
him?
A couple of weeks?
He got a little hurt. Wow, but
a kid named Mac Jones, who came in.
Hey, this is your opportunity, Mac Jones.
Big Mac.
And then behind him is Tua's little brother. There's another Tagovailoa over Tua's brother.
At Alabama?
At Alabama, yes. He's third string.
Really?
Yes, now he's second string.
That must hurt.
But
that must hurt at Thanksgiving.
For Georgia now.
Tuggle of a while.
Yes, and over there in Hawaii. But for Georgia now, it's pretty simple.
Mom loves him more. Anyway, go ahead.
Is the dad's name Archie?
No, Steve.
Oh.
No, Archie would have 2 starters.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying.
Georgia's got the SEC's title now, so step 1 to get in the playoff is complete. Step 2 will be beat Texas A&M, beat Tech, and then step 3 will beat number 1 in LSU.
So basically, the committee that decides these things. Is this a poll or a committee?
It is a committee.
Okay,
we had the polls come out yesterday, AP and the coaches' poll.
Did they line up?
They lined up this time. They had Georgia 4, but those don't matter anymore. What matters is the Condoleezza Rice committee, which is not on anymore, but she was. They will come out tomorrow with their next set of playoff rankings. Part of the reason they had Georgia ahead of Alabama last week was Georgia had 2 wins over top 15 opponents, Notre Dame and Florida. Alabama doesn't have that.
But you're also they're just thinking without Tua, there's not a chance.
Well, now that will be the next big factor.
Hey, come on, you got to believe in the Mac.
What about the what about the? Well, if you're a Tide fan, you do.
Yeah, of course.
What do you? A lot of people, Bulldogs fans, are happy, but it's bittersweet because this offense isn't going anywhere, not doing anything.
That win kind of sums up the whole season. Yeah, this is great. But, and
you're going to need more to get over the next hill.
Georgia beat a very good Auburn team at Auburn, won the division title, but there were 2 yards in the fourth quarter, which is
2 yards.
2 total. Georgia had 2 total yards.
Let me just say this: you tell me there were only 2 total yards in the fourth quarter. Yes. I tell you it could have been worse.
Well, that's could have been one. For a while there, they had one.
Yeah, it could have been 0, and it could have been negative. So let's look at the bright side now. Come on.
When Lawrence Cage is not in there, that offense just cannot seem to stay consistent.
So they got to work that out.
And he's had a dislocated shoulder. But that's why he did not play most of the game against Auburn. So try to rest him up and get him ready.
Did Kirby Smart? Did he swear on in the post game?
So the question was asked.
Kirby, don't work blue, man.
Sometimes I just end up chopping up the wrong log.
They asked. he was asked. Did it come up? Hey, in the post game celebration. Hey, we've won 3 SEC East titles in a row. We're going back to the SEC championship game.
I don't think so. I don't even think I said anything about it. I told him, how about them dogs? That's what I told him. But excuse my language. I didn't say anything about the SEC East because that wasn't.
Getting all Jared-y.
The goal coming in here. You know what I mean? The goal for us was to continue to get better.
Hold on. This sounds like Kirby Yamamoto there.
The goal.
So right here, right now.
That wasn't.
Wow.
I do like Kirby. I liked him. He's a
keeper.
keeper.
Say this Jared, he doesn't have influence. He's influencing the entire Atlanta market.
On the Georgia Power Ranking pod that I do every week. Me and my girlfriend will be doing this podcast every week.
The kids call it doing the Jared.
I didn't say anything about the SEC East because
right here we right here we got to face LSU right here right now.
While you're here, I want to get into this Colin Kaepernick thing. Also, I know this isn't a pro football town, but what the Falcons have done in the last couple of weeks is astounding.
I can't answer why that's happening.
It's not like they had a rash of injuries and suddenly 8 people came back. This is the same team that was awful. And 2 weeks in a row, they've gone into the homes of good teams and beat them up.
No touchdowns.
10 straight quarters. This is unbelievable.
I know, but behind the scenes, it's like, I don't know.
Well, they're running the same scheme over and over again.
Against 2 teams. Look, you know what? Take what you can get. I think the Falcons, very quickly, I think the players love the coach. I think they don't want him to lose his job.
Yes.
I think they're playing their behinds off, and it's fun to see. But Colin Kaepernick. Let's get to more of a political story here. The intersection of politics and sport,
yes.
Jay Black.
I can't wait.
So the NFL had worked it out. The Falcons said he can do his personal workout in front of scouts.
Yes.
At Flowery Branch. The Falcons, they're on the road. They leave people behind to facilitate this. My understanding, 25.
Most of the league.
25 teams show, and you can assume that there are 7 teams that just don't need a quarterback.
Yes.
They're fine with their quarterback and their backup quarterback. 25 teams show up. And so what happens at the last minute? He doesn't like the fact that the NFL is going to make it a closed off from media, right?
Yeah, and there was something in there about a liability waiver they didn't like and said, hey, let's move everybody down to Riverdale.
And so 5 teams showed up. Because it's 60 miles away.
Yes.
At the last minute. All right, now you have Kaepernick talk. First, and then he shows up with the Kunta Kinte shirt. I will tell you this. This guy does not want to play in the NFL. There's no way he wants to play in the NFL. But here's Kaepernick talking about, Kaepernick, I don't know who's giving this guy advice. I mean, if he does want to play, he's getting the worst advice in the world. Nobody. Hey, let me just say something, Colin Kaepernick. Have you noticed that no one's calling Antonio Brown? As far as I know, the commissioner has not said you can't call Antonio Brown, and every head coach will tell you he's the top 3 wide receivers in the league. Nobody's calling him. Why? The baggage that's brought into the locker room. Everything has to be good enough for Colin. And Colin, his brand, as you know, is bigger than the NFL. So if the NFL is going to be lucky enough to get Colin Kaepernick, well, let's get a few things straight about what kind of person wants to employ someone who's basically, I would like to employ you to be my boss. Makes no sense. Get Kaepernick's point of view here.
Our biggest thing with everything today was making sure we had transparency in what went on. We weren't getting that elsewhere, so we came out here.
Because we have come to me. It's the dumbest damn thing I've ever seen in my life, except that unless it's, I need another bump. This is a PR thing for my personal martyrdom, and then he doesn't answer any questions, which I love. He wants total transparency, no questions.
Colin, who has not really done a bunch of interviews in the last 3 years. Yeah. So can we have a moment of silence for Colin Kaepernick's NFL career?
It's over.
Because I think it's over.
All right.
I've been ready for 3 years. I've been denied for 3 years.
Shut up.
We all know why I came out here, showed it today in front of everybody.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. First of all, you didn't show it in front of everybody. And here's the deal, man. When you get a job, the employer's going to have a few rules. Why? Because I'm black? No, because you were born a human being in the world. And that's how jobs work. For everybody. Yeah, but they let white people go to work and tell the bosses what to do. No, Colin, they do not. They do not. And by the way, there's plenty of people still playing in the NFL who took knees. Why doesn't the press cover that? There are plenty of players who took knees who are still playing in the NFL. What are you going to do to my locker room? Hey, Colin, we got a halfway decent season going. Why don't you go into my locker room and just blow it to pieces? Just make it all about you. You're so much more important than a league who is right now celebrating their 100th year, and they've never been bigger, and they've never made more money. But it's pretty obvious to me, Colin, that your brand is so much bigger than the NFL that they had better get down on bended knee and ask you so politely, and then you just think about it, man. You think about it and make sure that they didn't hurt one single feeling that you have, and then bestow upon whatever team should be so lucky your backup services. It's ridiculous. Well, you know, Colin Kaepernick was busy dissing the NFL and then complaining once again about how the NFL dissed him. That wasn't all he did this weekend. Of course, another new Nike ad. I don't know if you heard it.
People tell you that you're destined to code the rest of your life because you can't find a job or interact socially with normal people. Own it. If they laugh at your ridiculous hair and the stupid things that come out of your mouth.
This is private property. You're not allowed to film here.
Stay that way. Because what normal people fail to understand is that calling a dream of being an overly educated, ridiculous millennial moron is not an insult. It's a compliment. Don't settle for homecoming queen because you're fat. So you gotta get in that line and march with the other fat Antifa people. But you can do both. You can be fat and stupid. Gain 120 pounds and become a member of Antifa. Don't believe that you gotta get a job and socialize like a normal American. Just scream a lot. And don't forget to dye your hair blue or multicolored. Also, don't forget to wear masks and beat up gay Asian men who claim to be journalists. Don't just drink that milkshake. Put cement mix in it and throw it at somebody you disagree with. Don't become the best fat slob Antifa marcher. Be fatter than marching down the street and swearing and giving middle fingers to police officers even though you don't know what they do. Believe in something, even if it's really stupid.
We cover our face because the Nazis will try to find out who we are, and they are the second coming of Hitler.
Well, so Colin's just sort of giving some advice to the young.
To the kids.
Yeah, you know, at least he's taking, you got to give it to him, at least he's taking a little time to give back to the youth. Hour 2 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. You know, I did two things that you know, two of my least favorite things to do in the world. I put them all together this weekend. I flew to a wedding. It was actually a halfway decent time. Everything worked out. I'll tell you something, though. You know, I don't like to dance, and my wife dances like crazy. And so we've been together 32 years, so we have it worked out. She gets one slow dance. Autumn knows this. We were at her wedding. She got one slow dance. Everybody's up. And my wife will go out there and dance with anybody. Usually ends up just being children. And she's just dancing, you know, like crazy. And so time comes, and, you know, I'm a benevolent dictator. Okay, it's time for my slow dance. I'm a man of my word, right? Okay, you get your one slow dance. I get up there, and there's some kind of weird thing going on. You ever been to a wedding where the DJ is kind of a jerk?
Oh, yeah.
This guy was kind of a jerk. I was like, you know, I'll decide what the fun is around here. You know, the DJs don't like anything, like control freaks.
Yeah, I'll get to your song. I'll get to it. I got it.
But I don't mean like that. It's like if somebody's going in the wrong, hey, they're having fun. Leave them alone, you moron. You're going to get your check. All that matters is people are jumping around and having fun. Oh, they're not doing it the way I want them to.
We'll do this on my timetable, thank you.
Okay, DJ Rick. He lost the seat.
What, did he get on the mic?
Huh?
Did he get on the mic?
Oh, he's the DJ. He's doing all the, introducing the family as they're walking down. The
there
whole deal.
She is. Look at the bride.
DJ Rick. He lost the C somewhere. It's just R-I-K. So he's kind of annoying me. And so I get up there. Okay, here's the slow dance. Well, I didn't really get on the dance floor until about halfway through. And then so another slow dance song comes on, and I figure, I'm good for my word. That was only half a song. So my wife still had the option for one half of the next song in order for me to be able to fulfill my obligations of one slow dance per wedding. And then we get out there, and she only got half, because here's why. In the middle of it, I realized that DJ Rick, no one's seen the C, no one know what happened. DJ Rick, after his horrible car accident where he lost his C, was surgically removed to save his life.
His mom drowned in the ocean, in the sea, so he took out the sea of
He said, you know what, I can't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
It brings back bad memories. So in the middle of it, I realized, he's starting some kind of DJ nonsense. So it's going to be one of those things where, okay, if you've been married 5 years, everybody 5 years or more, stay on the dance floor. And I realized I've been with my wife 32 years. And so we're in the middle of dancing to this horrible song that's slow. I don't know. And we're just the best. Those horrible songs at weddings. And I hear this going on, and I say to my wife, "We're out of here. I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm not going to be part of the old couples novelty dance."
Oh,
come
on!
Okay,
look how old they are. It's so cute.
They've been together.
See Grandma.
There they are, left in the middle of the floor. Plus, I know that there would be a scandal because after we got the trophy, somebody would say, "Hey, yeah, they've been together 32 years, but officially they've only been married 22 years," and then there'd be a whole stripping of the honors.
The DJ should be like, all right, who's happily married for 5 years?
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on, people.
All that DJ humor. All that DJ humor. Just
do they have that? Do they have
well,
it?
You better get used to saying yes, dear.
Wedding humor.
They like turn into hype men because you have to tell the DJ to shut up.
Yeah.
Or else they'll just like try and hype up your crowd.
I don't go to many weddings with that. I'm sure this is a staple. I don't remember it. The thing where the bride and the groom have to answer questions. Who's responsible for this? Who's responsible for that? They both put their hand up. And it's all, of course, plays into the fact that, the wife is more important, which is fine. It's a wedding. It's all about the wife. It's nothing to do with the men.
It's her day.
It's her day. And,
I've been dreaming about this since I was a little girl.
By the way, guys, if that's what you're hearing on your way to the altar, run!
Yeah.
Run!
He treats me like a princess.
Run as far as you can. I've been dreaming of this since I was 8. Run as far as you can. It's going to cost you a minor fortune, or somebody's going to be paying a minor fortune.
Yes, we need 14 gather pillows on our wedding registry.
Because I've been dreaming of this day since I was 8.
$100 salt and pepper shaker. What?
Yeah.
It's awesome. Shut up.
And then I don't like plane rides. Not so much because of fear. I just don't like the whole thing. A plane ride. Riding in a plane.
You sound like a little boy.
Yeah.
I don't like the plane ride.
Yeah.
Ever since I was a kid in the 30s and that Barnstormer came around. 25 cents to ride
getting on that plane, Eric.
So I'm gonna tell you, I want to thank. You know how when you win an award, thank everybody. I'd like to thank my AirPods for saving me from much banal airplane chatter. Let me tell you, there's people in front of me. I sat down on the way back, and these two people started talking, and I said, I can't listen to this for an hour and a half. This is done. It was just and my wife didn't have AirPods. So we got off the plane. She said, I heard about every gossipy thing that happened in the office between these two people for the last 12 years. They never shut up. They never shut up. And first thing I heard was, I have a vision for you. Okay, where are those AirPods? Yeah, I cannot. And, I think that Jim, and my wife was telling me they were talking about some guy who might be cheating with somebody else. And then the other lady, she kept the ring after she called off the wedding. And I'm sitting there blissful with the AirPods. Thank you. Thank you, dead Steve Jobs, for saving me from banal airplane chatter. Let's do this.
More headlines for Monday, November 18th.
And also, when the plane's sitting there, there's no need to get up.
Yeah.
When people aren't moving, What are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you what, they start moving. I'm shaving a nanosecond off here.
Yeah, and hasn't anyone been in a church and left church orderly fashion the way you're supposed to do it?
What are you going to do? Are you going to get out of this plane 8 seconds before anybody else? What are you doing?
People from the back will rush up and try and get closer
because they know they're old people.
I like the guys. I like the guys who are inside by the window seats and they stand up all hunched over. Like, what are you waiting? Just sit down,
dummy.
Hey, you know what? You could wait till everybody gets off the plane and then just leave. Just walk off the plane.
I also don't like when people stand in front of the gate waiting for the people to come off the plane or like get in there. I understand if you are on Southwest and you're trying to get a good seat or whatever, but with Delta, you've already picked your seat. Relax.
You know what? The plane's
going to there. Do you want to sit on the plane for an extra 30 minutes? Is that your goal?
Doesn't matter where you sit. When the plane takes off, you're taking off at the same time. Yeah. Relax. Yes, Jared.
The best is when you see somebody who rushed to get off the plane, right? And you've checked your bag, and you go down to baggage claim, and the bags haven't started coming out yet, and you see that guy just waiting right there, right at the front of baggage claim. It's like, dude, did it really matter that much that you had to rush off the plane just to sit here in baggage claim?
They have a waiting fetish. They love to wait, I guess.
Yes, hot.
I'm gonna stand and wait.
Oh, I stood for that bag for so long.
We should listen to Jared on these things because he worked.
These stories, I'm getting the shakes. I'm getting gate agent PTSD from hearing these stories.
Those are called gate lice. Those people who stand in front of their gate waiting to board the plane.
Called what?
Gate lice.
Wow.
Is that what you guys know?
We did not refer to them like that. They were wonderful passengers.
Jared, he used to work for, I don't want to say which airline, but it starts with a D, ends with an A, and says ELTA in the middle.
Triangle.
Or ELT wouldn't be A.
Something like that.
Yeah, somewhere.
Well, one of the best, I relate so much to that story there because the plane would be coming in and there would be 45 minutes to turn the plane around. And people would not understand that the passengers have to come off of the aircraft in order for me to load up this plane.
Yeah.
So the sooner that we move out of the way, we can let all these passengers off, get the plane cleaned and nice for you, and then you can board up.
My wife and I did this both times. Check the bags there, so you just leave them at the last second down the ramp.
It's easy.
And then just like let everybody get on the plane, and then just stroll onto the plane. So it's like, well, they have standbys. No. As long as I'm in that first bunch, okay. It looks like everybody's on the plane. I'll just stroll on the plane.
You're not racing the door closing like Indiana Jones or something.
Yeah, and you're checked in.
Yeah, but
they know you're there.
You gotta get to Chicago faster? No, the plane is going to get you there.
So you're not a zone.
No, I love waiting in the plane.
You guys are not zone cutters, then? That was always the worst when I would scan the boarding pass.
People don't understand that if you keep your one bag with you, as long as it's a full flight, they will say if you check the bag here, you can get on with the first zone because they don't care because you're not going to be clogging things up trying to put a bag in. So that's what you do. You keep your one bag with you. Chances are it's a full flight. If it's a full flight, they will offer you, if you check the bag here at the gate, you can get on with the first people. So I just wait and it's... People, relax.
I can't give up my bag.
It's good.
I need my bag with me. Something's going to happen to it. Where's my bag?
Let's get on that plane really fast. We'll get to Chicago faster.
I need my gum.
I'm more surprised that you said you were able to listen to your album with your AirPods on, but you didn't even offer your wife one of your AirPods so that way she could at least escape the gossip like that?
No, I'm not going to sit there in mono. She knew what was going on. She bought her ticket. She knew she was going to be there for an hour and a half. Look, if she doesn't take the time to protect herself from banalities on the airplane, that's her problem. She'll learn her lesson.
Chivalry is dead in this country, Eric.
Well, Cheryl keeps bringing in that fish in the microwave, stinking it up in the break room.
God, what's wrong with this thing?
And the popcorn. Oh my gosh!
These headphones on.
The microwave is so dirty.
I don't care. I don't even care. I don't care if I miss the opportunity for a cookie and ginger ale. I'm putting these...
I mean, should it be the cleaning people that clean the microwave, or is it Jim? Someone like Jim who's always...
Can I ask you a question?
Fish? I know, it's gross.
Can I ask everybody a question here? Why does Eric Von Haessler always get something to snack on and a ginger ale? It's an hour and a half. There are plenty of 1 hour and a half periods in life where I don't drink a ginger ale. Or why do we feel like we have... I wasn't...
No, I mean, it breaks up the monotony.
Yes, yeah.
No, but where else are you going to get that weird trail mix with a bouillon cubed crushed into it?
Gross. Can I tell you something, though? Delta, no pretzels.
Cheez-Its, right?
Cheez-Its!
Yes, the best!
Who wants orange fingers when you're flying?
No, no, that's Cheetos.
No, you still get the orange. You get the dust.
No, you do not.
You
I am a
get the
Cheez-It
Trump
expert,
dust.
and you no, you do not.
The Trump dust.
Do.
Hey, look, don't bring me into this. I like both.
But at the expense of pretzels, to me, I only fly because it's an opportunity to the intersection of ginger ale and
Too
pretzels.
many gluten allergies.
Is that what it is?
No,
I already
if
lost the
I had
peanuts.
the choice between pretzels and Cheez-Its, 100%. But I love Cheez-Its.
First of all, you know what? You know what you need to get in love with? Not eating Cheez-Its. I don't want to
Why?
lecture here because it's crap. It's crap.
So
You got to
it's
stop
delicious.
putting crap in your mouth. It's just
Listen,
stupid.
you got to have crap in your life or you'll get sick.
Yeah.
No, not Cheez-Its. Go eat some dirt.
Hey, you got to get your
bit.
stomach ready. Get it prepared for the battle.
Oh, I had more college stuff and whatever.
Oh, we have a great open mic, too.
We have a great open mic?
Yes.
Are you promising that? Is it your tease?
I promise,
Ladies
Eric.
and gentlemen, as my producer, Jared Yamamoto, has let you know, when we return, you will be privy to a great open mic. Don't go away. You know, one more little airport story. Did I tell this on air or to you guys about
Just us.
Just TSA? I forget sometimes. I tell my stories to everybody, you know, and I forget if it's off air, on air, is it in the podcast 30?
Grandpa.
Was I yelling at my wife? I have no idea. It all bleeds together. So I went to the T-Gate TSA. I didn't mean to, but they've changed stuff out there, and I walked out of the garage. I didn't know where the hell I was, so I went to the wrong TSA. And there's a lady in front of me. She's very excited. She keeps looking further down. And then we get up to the TSA agent, you know, the one who just looks at your license and takes some marker. This is great.
Yeah, it does something.
Yeah, some sort of marker, I guess. It's
It is
black
real.
marker. Yeah. And I guess they're trained to show no emotion. And this person in front of me is like really excited. And after I finally realized what she's looking for, she says to her, "Was that Monique?" You want to talk about just a total mood killer? The lady at the TSA, and he goes, "Yeah." This girl didn't know what to do with her emotion. She was so excited. And so I walked up behind her and I said, "Hey, was that Jack Hay?"
Yeah.
I guess they can't really show emotion because maybe it would be a distraction or something. But to believe that this would be a distraction, first you'd have to convince Monique to play along.
Was that Denzel Washington?
It's probably not. It was just such a letdown because it's like I was so excited. So Monique is still a thing. She's still popular. Is she on that Atlanta Love and Hip Hop or whatever that is?
No. So she's in a battle right now with Netflix over equal pay.
Oh.
She's arguing that Netflix didn't pay her correctly with one of the series that she had done recently.
Oh, really? So for the only reason for this she would be correct is if she signed a contract and the money that she received was not the money that was in the contract that she signed, right? That's the way that it's been done since the beginning of contracts, right? Or is there something new going on here? You sign a contract, and then later on you decide, you know what? I shouldn't have signed that contract. Therefore, give me whatever other money I'm asking for.
Everyone should be paid equally.
Or you could learn your lesson from one thing, if you think you got screwed, and apply that knowledge to all the other contracts in the future, and you just kind of keep moving on with your life, and you don't get a bunch of lawyers involved. I mean, what did she say? Was her lawyer saying, "Hey, you know what? She was drunk when she signed that"? What would be the excuse?
She said that Amy Schumer, Chris Rock, and Dave Chappelle were offered double-digit millions for their respective comedy specials, but she was only offered $500,000.
Yeah, everybody I know is excited about the next Dave Chappelle special. There's one lady I walked through TSA with that's really, really, really excited about the. So she was like, "Hey, do you think Netflix is gonna play her?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I saw two great movies on Friday night. My wife and I were in an Airbnb on Friday. We watched that Dolomite movie, that Eddie Murphy movie.
Oh, that's amazing.
On Netflix.
Funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Did he take 10 years off or something? I mean, it just seems like Eddie Murphy is back all of a sudden.
Well, he's been working a lot. He's doing vehicles that are for him and that he came up with, and he's doing them again.
Yeah, I love show business. It's a great show business story.
Yep.
It's great. And not to belabor the point, but when you talk about diversity and, I don't like the idea, what I call one of each, where they have, one white person, black guy, Asian. It looks like these shows and movies look like the cover of Girl Scout cookie boxes to me. So they say,
I'm the Samoan scientist.
Yeah. So you're saying, I have said, just tell more stories about more people. And that's how I feel like Dolomite. That's a great show business story that hadn't been told, that I sort of remember from the 70s, not hardly at all. And I thought it was fantastic. Then as soon as that was over, we went out to the theater and saw, I'm going to tell you, look, these things are subjective, okay? So it doesn't, if I say I loved something, it doesn't mean you're going to love something. But saw this movie, Jojo Rabbit, was the best movie I've seen. It's the best movie I've seen in 10 years. If you ask, now I don't know if your movie diet is balanced between rom-coms and shoot 'em ups. I don't know if this is, but this movie, 10 out of 10 from Eric von Haessler. I will tell you, I think that this movie does everything that movies make possible to do in one movie. I just absolutely loved it. So much so that I just knocked over my drink.
Does it have 10 superheroes in it? Because that's the only movies I like.
No, it has no.
No. It can't be good then.
It's so original and funny, and you're laughing, and then I don't even want to tell people the emotional ride, because I don't want to do that. I want people to see it the way that I saw it. But I will tell you this. It's about a kid who's 10 years old, and it's at the end of the war. He's German. End of World War II, the final days, and Hitler is his imaginary friend. And you might say, oh, how could that? Stunning. Great. I cannot say how great this movie was. Top to bottom. The humor is unbelievable. The touching part is unbelievable. I don't mean handsy touching. I mean,
emotional.
Okay. Emotional touching.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the touching.
We walked out of there. I just said to Jane, I don't care about awards, but they should just give every award to everybody, top to bottom, who had anything to do with making that movie. Everybody in that movie should get every award. That's how much I liked it. Now you can go see it and go, it's no Adam Sandler film.
Yeah.
And you know what? You'd be right.
What's the matter with Adam Sandler?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Or...
No, thanks.
You know what? I forgot that I was going to cancel that. Not do that.
No, it's okay.
Well, I know it's okay, but it's also still my show. I mean, it's okay. What do you mean? I'm not going to get fired? What's he reassuring me?
Well, the suits are outside. I mean, they were a little concerned.
You say you're going to do a segment. I got
got my guide right here. It says this is next. If I don't hear it, I'm going to be a little upset.
That's how they talk around it. They get mad. They go, hey, by gum.
What happened to that guy that talked bad about Trump in Denver?
Yeah,
like
apparently they tore his headphones off and ripped him out of the...
Hey, I want you to get that guy off your show.
You ordered it.
I did, but listen, okay, I understand you have sponsors. I understand. Hey, look, I know he's got a remote. You're just going to have to send someone else to the cell phone store.
What was that guy's name? Craig Silverman?
Craig Silverman, yeah.
So,
kind of on a smaller news talk station out in Denver. But
not quite as big as us.
No, but it is. I
can talk about anybody I want to, and they don't take me off the air. You want to know why? Because I own the station. I'm as cruel as Colin Kaepernick to my employers. I tell them what to do.
I'm monitoring you, though. I'm monitoring you because Rush comes on it now.
I know. You want to hear Rush.
I related with the story, though, because the way the host describes it, Mr. Silverman described it, is that his producer started waving him down. Yeah. And he knew it. He knew at this point it wasn't about like something wrong with the break or something that was said. And immediately the program director came in and just like yanked him out of the room, is how he described it.
Jared, you're looking at a guy who actually has been through that 3 times. So I actually know what that feels like. To feel it's a Wile E. Coyote act where you're doing your show and then you look down and you realize, oh, there's nothing underneath my feet. What happened? Whoop. Down you go. But the only reason I would have canceled that particular segment is I had an idea for a new segment, but I don't have a sounder or anything. I just wanted to see what you guys thought of this. So this is kind of a rough sketch of a segment that I would like to do in the future. And the name of the segment would be, these can be any headlines, apropos to nothing really, but it's just the headline has to jump out at me. And the segment will be called just plain dumb headlines. Just headlines that are just plain dumb. And here's one for you. Look. Oh, well, look. Look over here. I happen to have one.
Oh.
Just plain dumb headlines. The 100 must-read books of 2019.
100?
Who the hell reads 100 books in any year? I'll bet you Stephen Hawking never read 100 books a year. I hear.
I beg to do it.
Okay, well, you're lying. Nobody reads 100 books a year. And on top of it, look what's happening to our language. Words don't mean anything anymore. What do the two words "must read" mean to you?
That you have no other choice. You must read
it. To me, it says your life will be lesser than it otherwise would be if you don't read the... In order to live the life you were born to live, you must. What does the word must mean? In this season, when you throw in 100 in front of that, the 100 must-read books in 2019, you're basically saying, hey, you got to take a look at these books. But you're using the term must read.
Now, listen, if they added an emoji in that headline with that girl flipping her hair, this one, then maybe you would get, you're like, oh, I get it. It's just like, oh my God, you've got to read it. You know, that
here's another one. This is I think it's going to go well. We're going to start doing this on a bi-weekly basis.
Stupid headlines.
I don't know what bi-weekly. I don't know if that's twice a week or once every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Every time. Yeah. Bi-weekly. It sounds to me like this is going to be slated to be a bi-weekly segment. Here's the second in the just plain dumb headlines. Again, to explain the concept, these are headlines that are just plain dumb. The hotter the planet grows, the less children are learning.
It's too hot to learn.
Yes, I said that was your headline. The hotter the planet grows, the less children are learning.
Are you bothered by just the grows in that also in the headline? Grows?
The hotter the planet grows. You're right. That's kind of...
I don't like that. It should be like gets.
Yeah, the hotter the planet gets, the planet is growing hotter. I guess they always want to have that action in there, like, hey.
Yeah, like it's...
Hey,
yeah.
Yeah, I know. Go to the mall.
It should say something like...
No, it's like this. Go to the mall, eat at Applebee's, but whether you realize it or not, the planet's growing hotter.
Yeah, it should be like, as temperatures climb, children are learning less or something like that.
But I think the whole idea that the fact that children are learning less has anything to do with the fact that the temperature has gone up 1.5 degrees.
I don't know what
1
+ 3 is because I'm hot.
It's too hot to learn. Hey, how many more excuses?
A, B, C, D, I don't care. I'm hot.
Maybe they don't have AC.
That's why Greta's not in school.
Oh, that's why That's why Greta came over here.
How dare you? It's too hot to learn.
You should be learning.
I should be learning, but I'm too warm. How dare you?
Here's another one. Oh, this is what I love. This is an example of how everything, the clickable world that we live in, is leading to the end of our country. Because everything, it turns out, conflict is the essence of drama, right? Anybody who writes a screenplay knows that. You got to have conflict. You can't have a screenplay where people sit around and go, you're wonderful. Hey, you're wonderful.
Hey,
Something has to happen. It has to be resolved, right? So you want to get people in. Everything is negative. Everything is negative. So here's the headline in just plain dumb headlines. You guys get the concept, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
These are headlines that are just plain dumb. This is the headline. Your throat hurts. Your brain hurts. The secret life of audiobook stars. People who read audiobooks. Your throat hurts. Your brain hurts. The secret life of the audiobook star. Now, what I would say to somebody who is a voice talent, it's probably a great gig. Right? Like, which one do you want to read? Well, am I getting paid by the word? I'll take War and Peace. We'll be here for 6 months. You'd think that would be a great gig. But no, it turns out it's painful. And it hurts your mind, and it hurts your throat. And what I would say to these audiobook stars, hey, imagine yourself in the middle of the summer on top of a roof when it's 98 degrees, nailing the 9,000th tile into a roof. These are people who have no idea what hard work is.
Yeah?
Are
Okay,
you
why don't you
Are you the audiobook star?
Yeah, why don't you try narrating Kim Kardashian's autobiography? Come back to me, and you tell me what's harder.
Are you saying your throat hurts, your brain hurts?
Well, I have to put in all the vocal fry when I'm reading it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
And
so I met Kanye.
We got into the story later about how Kanye was at Joel Osteen.
Yeah,
he's the guy. He's the guy who's chummy. He's like the chummy pastor. He's like he tells a joke. Tells a joke before things get going.
Knock knock.
Louis, is that Joel? Is that what he sounds like?
I don't know what he sounds like. I'm basing on his face.
No,
he's so biased.
No. He's one of these guys that.
Hi there, fella.
Yeah,
I've got it right here, guys.
Hold on. In radio school, they teach you to smile while you're speaking, and people will sense your smile. That's how Joel is. Hello. Let's start things off a little joke, and it's always some kind of sometimes they're kind of funny. I always like to check out the joke, see how Joel's opening joke is. But he's a great.
You can really tell how his
Toastmaster.
mood is for the rest of the show.
That's what I'm understanding.
Well,
hold on. I have one more. Just don't mix up the. I said we can do it. Don't mix up. We are now.
Okay.
He just doesn't understand the
plain.
premise.
It's kind of difficult.
He doesn't get the premise of just plain dumb headlines. I know it's complicated, but these again are headlines that are just plain dumb.
Oh.
This is the last one. Louis C.K. is on a bizarre comeback tour, but he's afraid you'll find out about his post-Me Too jokes. Now, this is my question for anybody who's writing these stories. What is it that Louis C.K. is supposed to do now? Is he supposed to just give away all of his money and get a job bussing tables? Has somebody, the president of the show business, decided this guy, it's outrageous. What is he, 50? He's got like 20, 25 years left in a career. So this Louis C.K., what I would ask people from the cancel culture, what is he supposed to do? What they won't tell you is, well, if he gets on his knees and grovels and apologizes, we just might have a meeting and allow him back in. But outside of that, apparently Louis C.K. is just supposed to go, you know what, I did something wrong 10 years ago. I didn't go to jail. No, there's no trial. No, that'd be foolish. Nobody would even think of such a thing. But, yeah. I have 30 years of a career left. I'm just going to go get a job bussing tables because that's what I deserve.
Get your daily dose of comic relief with Eric Von Haessler mornings at 9. Then shake off the daily stress.
It's gonna be all right.
With Mark Aram weeknights at 6 on 95.5 WSB.
One bad thing that I learned, Kanye, on the Joel Osteen thing, is apparently it turns out that I'm only the second greatest artist that God has ever created. He said that from the pulpit. You have that?
The greatest artist that God has ever created is now working for him. I would like for everybody to be completely silent so I can let God flow through me as I speak to you guys today.
That's fine. Most of it was fine, but basically declaring that I'm the greatest artist that God has ever created. Boy, I'll tell you what, if you do a show later that night, it better be good. You can't have an off night. Yeah, you're really putting it out there. If you say I'm the greatest artist that God ever created, you can't have an off night. You can't have a night where people don't walk out of your concert going, okay, that's the greatest thing of all time.
Can't forget your bars.
Yeah.
There was also a moment, too, where poor Joel Osteen is introducing Kim Kardashian.
He gets it wrong, right?
And, Kanye goes over and whispers into his ear and says that it's Kim Kardashian West now.
Okay. What I'm surprised about, I wonder how people who are hard, people who are really, really, really religious feel about this. Oh, the music. You play the music under me? I got to tease people again? Let them know when we come back. The response in this church to Kim Kardashian West didn't sound church-like to me. It sounded pop star fandom to me. And I wonder how that goes over with churchgoers. Hour 3 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins now. Is it banal or banal? I said banal earlier.
Banal.
Is it banal? Autumn, is it banal or banal? Banal or
I think
banal?
I say banal, like banality, right?
Yeah, I know it's banality, but I think when you take the it off, I said it-t, when you take the it-t off, it's the family friendly. What is it?
Banal.
Right, but it's also banality, which confuses me because I think it's Wesson, whether it's a standalone or Wessonality, doesn't change.
That's not a real word.
What?
Westonality.
No, Westonality is a real word. It's a
make-em-up word to sell oil.
No, you're tearing my world apart.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's when you are when you have the personality of Mother Brady and Florence Henderson, and you want to cook without anything sticking to your pants.
Well, it should have been called Alice-ality because Mrs. Brady didn't cook.
That's right.
Well, now you're getting technical. All right, we're talking about the Florence Henderson thing, the it.
I think
that
Mr.
she
Brady
had.
should have been the one cooking it.
All right, now it's 2019.
I was gonna say about pecan and pecan.
Yeah,
pecan.
So I say pecan sandies, but I say pecan tree.
But it is always pecanality, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Pecanosity, I think.
That guy's got some pecanosity.
Pecanality tree, pecanality pie, pecanality.
Pecan.
Thank you.
All right. Now,
that voice.
Pecan.
I guess we can go ahead and start this next segment, but I think I'm going to hijack it, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Even more headlines for Monday, November 18th.
Hey, here's a good thing.
For November 18th.
Here's something. You think this has ever happened? Somebody sees a friend, like they're getting on a plane, and somebody sees a friend in front of him, and then he's about to sit down, but he's standing up and he goes, "Hi, Jack!" And then, whoa, security, get on the ground. Ridiculous.
Dad jokes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that was good.
That wasn't a dad joke.
Yeah, it was a good dad joke.
Yes, it was. What was the one that you told earlier that you were like, I need the rim shot for?
Excuse me. That was not a dad joke. That was a dad observation.
Okay.
Get it straight. There was no punchline there. I was simply observing from the worldview of a dad. I don't like the idea of dad jokes. You might just say, I think that sucked.
Just change the D to a B and call it bad jokes.
No, but dad.
That's what I'm saying. No, the point is, it wasn't funny. I get it. Dad joke. All right. Very good.
I'm sorry. What was the joke that you told earlier in the show? That you're like, I need a rim shot for this.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember. What was it? There was an Ipsos poll.
Oh,
and I hesitate to do this again
please do.
without a rim shot because it really deserves.
I'll do the rim shot.
I believe my question was, what's with this guy?
No. I was talking to you, not her.
He's like the dummy. Like I'm like, hey, Mr. Andrews, this is a nice crowd.
I am a dummy.
He knows things about me that other people don't.
There was a story we're doing that somebody in the Ipsos poll.
Mayor Pete. He's doing really well in Iowa.
And what do they call you?
They call me Mayor Pete. Even right here in Iowa.
In the Ipsos poll, he's ahead or whatever. My dad question, not joke, not observation.
Dad question.
Dad question.
How do you work this thing?
If you're number one in the Ipsos poll, does that de facto make you number one?
Oy.
See, I don't. What? Hey, by the way, Lee is not a rim shot.
I forgot I was supposed to do it. I was so blinded by the bad joke. I forgot.
I don't like this idea that dad is standing in for cute but not so good, like dad bod. I don't want a dad bod.
Everybody likes a dad bod. That's the thing.
No, they don't. They're pretending they do.
No, that's not true, Eric.
A lot of women like the dad bod.
They're pretending they do. Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay, let's see next time on the next Bachelorette. Let's see how many dad bods. Let's see how many dad bods. What do you mean it's different?
Well, those are shallow
because
people.
a dad bod represents stability,
money,
safety, squishy, comfort.
Money.
That's the only reason I have 7 mistresses.
Sexy money.
It's the money. It's not me.
No wonder you get paid so much. You need
hey, look, I got a lot of mistresses I got to keep.
Got a lot of other families to take care of.
Sugar daddy over here.
I tell my
Sugar
wife.
dad joke.
I tell my wife. She, if you want to, all this money goes to his 7 mistresses. I tell my wife that we are building wells in Africa, so she feels great about the money.
Carbon offset costs are really high in your house.
Absolutely. All right, did we start the thing?
We did.
Yeah.
You know what I want to do is I want to just go through some of the sound that we have because
there's a lot.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
hey, back off, kid.
Hey guys.
Hey.
There's a lot of sound. Oh.
Yeah, Jared says a lot of sound.
Was that Clive or something?
Jared got a lot of sound.
That's right, Clive.
Yeah, and I have sound up here I've had for a few days and I haven't been able to get to. So we were talking earlier. Let's do this first because it's kind of like real news. So let's. I will do it over here. I have it over here. So don't worry about it, producer. He got puzzled. He's like, what's going on? I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm so puzzled.
This is because I want the audience going to hear a lot. My guess is I'm going to be completely opposite of anybody who's deemed credible on talk radio today concerning this story about Kellyanne Conway and her husband, George Conway. Now, this guy apparently is a respected lawyer in D.C. circles. Do with that what you will. But in the media, he's a respected lawyer. As you know from the past, George disagrees with Kellyanne. Kellyanne thinks Donald Trump is the greatest guy in the world. And by the way, I don't know who's bringing in more money, but Kellyanne's probably being paid pretty well to be an advisor to the president.
Yeah, she has quite a paycheck. Very mighty.
I would imagine.
I sign them.
I would imagine. Did you sign the paychecks?
I sign all the checks. All 358,000 executive staff checks.
So, not for nothing, but this guy's eating off this administration to a certain degree. I'm sure he makes his own. I don't know who makes more money. But the idea, so he shows up on MSNBC. We know that they disagree. Trump has tweeted mean things about him. Even if they have kids, it's bizarre. It is bizarre that they publicly have this feud, but then they go home and live in the same place and have kids together and I guess make it work. I don't know. But it went one step further. During the impeachment inquiry, they had George Conway on MSNBC. And so, and then later on, Kellyanne Conway was on the Wolf Blitzer show. What's that called again? What's that called?
Situation Room.
The Situation Room. Wolf, is this the Situation Room?
The Situation Room we have coming up today, Kellyanne Conway from the Trump administration.
All right, so I'm going to get to what he said within this. So it starts off, she's mad that Wolf is going to bring this up because apparently there's nothing to be seen here. There's no news here. And this is what you're going to hear all day long. I'm sure that I'm a lone wolf on talk radio on this because I completely disagree. News is something maybe you didn't expect. The fact that Trump tweeted something that pissed people off is not news to me because what's new about it? Is he intimidating these witnesses? Maybe, but before they even got involved, it had to be there. No one's surprised that if you go in public and criticize the president, that he's going to make fun of you on Twitter. So the intimidation was built in long before they started these things, if it exists at all.
She could have done her hair before the hearing. That's all I'm saying.
So, Kelly, see, like a fashion critic. That's all.
Well, look at it. I mean, she looked, she's 70.
So George Conway has already been on MSNBC. And Wolf starts to bring this up to Kellyanne Conway.
I don't want to talk about your marriage. I don't want to talk about I want to talk about a substantive point that your husband, George Conway, made.
Why? And why are you doing that?
Because he's a legal scholar, he's a lawyer, and he was really going after the president of the United States, and he was all over television yesterday.
And come on.
I just want you to.
And he's married to me?
But, he happens to be married to you.
Just say yes. Why is Wolf saying yes? That's why I'm asking the question.
That's why I'm asking you the question, dummy.
So then he plays this of her husband hours earlier on MSNBC.
It's astonishing, and it's just a direct violation of his oath of office. It's foundational. It's the ultimate impeachable offense.
How is this not news? That the most trusted advisor to the President of the United States is going on MSNBC and saying this man must be impeached. How the right has worked this out that this is out of bounds to ask about somebody's personal life. The guy went on MSNBC. If Wolf Blitzer would have said, hey, we have a reporter that was outside your home and he heard you and your husband arguing about whether or not the president, yes. Then you're jumping into somebody's private life. But when your husband appears on MSNBC and says this, I say it's news. So then she gets angry and I would say on her high horse.
You wanted to put it in my husband's voice because you think somehow that'll help your ratings or that you're really sticking it to Kellyanne Conway. And let me make very clear, you didn't stick it to Kellyanne Conway. I think you embarrassed yourself. And I'm embarrassed for you because this is CNN now. I really respected you for all those years as somebody who would give us the news. And now the news is what somebody's husband says.
You know how many times...
No, yeah. That is news. And this is all I want to put in people's heads as they're screaming at me. And, there goes WSB. Might as well be another CNN. if you believe this isn't news, and if you can be honest with yourself as a conservative, a Trumper, or whatever, then this has to be true. That you would go back to 2012 and you would find out that Valerie Jarrett's husband appeared on Fox News and said, Benghazi was a crime, and this president needs to be impeached. Now, if you're going to be intellectually consistent, you're going to tell me that you get in a time machine, go back to 2012, you yourself, as someone who was against Obama's presidency, would think, no, they shouldn't ask Valerie Jarrett about that at all. The fact that her husband's on Fox News saying Obama should be impeached. This is not even a question. I was watching those shows where on Sunday they have a bunch of reporters sit around and talk about how the media covered things that week.
Oh, yeah.
Reporters deciding whether or not reporters did it right or wrong. And everybody decided that, no, it was absolutely wrong for him to ask that question. And this does not resonate with me at all. It is obviously news that the most trusted advisor to the President of the United States, husband of many years, with children, it's not news because you want to know whether or not the marriage is rocky. It's news just because, wait a minute, your own husband says this. It doesn't matter who you agree with, who you think is right or wrong. And then I just think that she's on her high horse here. Oh, you're only asking because it's my husband. And Wolf is trying to, I don't, maybe. No, just say yes. That's why it's news. Because you are a trusted advisor to the president, and your own husband is saying not only that he should be impeached or that this is impeachable, but it's a slam dunk, which, by the way, I personally disagree with, but it's still news. It's still worth asking the question. You know what? I say this all the time. The Von Haessler Doctrine is here to not only inform and entertain, it's to help you cut through the clutter and understand what's really going on. Set the nose, if you will. So a lot of stories out there. I don't know. Is Bloomberg running? He seems to be, but he hasn't said anything, and he hasn't announced that he's running, but he's signing up for the Alabama caucus and the Arkansas caucuses or primaries, but he hasn't. And the question would be like a question mark. Is Bloomberg running? Well, Eric Von Haessler is here to tell you that whether anybody noticed or not, he kicked off his campaign over the weekend, because how does a Democrat announce that they're running for president? Well, by apologizing for everything they did in the past.
I got something important really wrong. I didn't understand that back then, the full impact that stocks were having on the Black and Latino communities.
There you go. Send the balloons into the air. Let the doves out of the cages. Free hot dogs for the first 1,000 people.
Sodas.
That's small. One soda. One small
sip.
soda. Everyone's allowed one. So that's all you need to know. These stories. Is he running? He just jumped. He's a Democrat. You just heard it. He just kicked off his campaign the way every Democrat kicks off their campaign, apologizing for everything they've done in the past. Welcome to the race, Michael Bloomberg. So I didn't tell people what Bloomberg was talking about there. He was talking about stop and frisk, New York City policy. I don't know if Giuliani put it in place initially, but Mike Bloomberg kept it in place. And I don't know about the policy. I don't live in New York City. You can read articles that say that it did a world of good. Crime went down. You read other articles that say, no, it didn't do anything. It just harassed people for no good reason. I'm a libertarian. I'm open to that side of things. But this is the only point is, and you can play it again here in context, don't believe these. Is Mike Bloomberg running? He's apologizing. He's a Democrat. That means he's running.
I got something important really wrong. I didn't understand that back then, the full impact that stocks were having on the Black and Latino communities.
I didn't understand. Nobody brought it up. No, only everybody was talking about it at the time. I asked the mayor in New York City. I don't know.
Well, I was wrapped in my own little world, and I'm sorry about all of that.
Do people understand how many people want presidents that are going to grovel and apologize their way. I mean, it worked out so well for Beto, didn't it? Apologizing for being born, essentially.
I'm sorry.
I was born to do this, but I'm sorry that I was ever born because I represent everything awful.
I could be a really
vote
good...
for me.
Vote for me. I'm really bad. I'm sorry I was born. I'm sorry I'm white. I'm sorry that I'm a male. But other than that, I'm really more than qualified. And now I have a beard.
That's always happens.
Yeah.
Remember when Al Gore lost the
I
election?
do.
And all of a sudden he had a beard. You see him like dancing at raves and stuff.
Let's party.
Don't worry about it anymore. All right, you ready to do this? I am. Let's do this.
It's the stories we just couldn't miss. It's the Doctrine Extra.
In reality, I just want to make sure we get to all the decent audio.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Colin Kaepernick earlier. So what?
Got an open mic to get you back into that.
Okay, so we should let people know Colin Kaepernick, the NFL worked out a thing. The Falcons helped out. 25 teams were waiting in Flowery Branch on Saturday morning. At the last minute, the NFL didn't like some of the things he was asking for. He didn't like the fact that the NFL wanted it to be a closed camp, closed off from media, I guess, or cameras. And so at the last minute, he changes it to what high school? Riverdale?
It's somewhere in Riverdale. I can't remember the exact high school, but I know that it's
the one that Archie and Veronica go to.
Yeah, I like Jughead.
So he went, and so 5 scouts ended up there when 25 were waiting for him because he didn't, and he wore a Kunta Kinte T-shirt, and then he wouldn't take questions, and he basically said, we're ready whenever you are, as if the NFL has to beg him to be on one of the teams. So it's not just me who sees through this. I say he has no interest in playing football. He's sabotaging himself if he wants to be in the NFL. He has no interest. He was re-upping his brand. That's what that whole thing was with the Kunta Kinte. If you don't know, maybe young people don't know, that's a character from the miniseries Roots, the book Roots. So, which he probably just saw last week as part of his.
I love LeVar Burton.
Hey, we all love LeVar Burton.
Reading Rainbow.
LeVar Burton, well before the Star Trek thing.
Geordie.
I like Ben Vereen myself.
Chicken George?
Ooh, yeah, he was great. But, hey, look, this is not a review of Roots. Fine miniseries.
I didn't like Ed Asner in Roots.
Yeah, well,
How about OJ?
OJ was in Roots, wasn't he? Well, this is the pre-OJ. This is okay OJ.
That's true. Yeah, this is okay OJ.
This is before Naked Gun movies.
I'm just saying.
This is Buffalo Bills, 1 season with the 49ers, and Capricorn 1.
What's up, Confederate world?
So I'm not the only one out there who believes that Colin Kaepernick has no interest in playing in the NFL, and he's just yanking people's chains. So Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, who is usually screaming his opinions, but is he at home trying his...
Yeah, I read that he was soft screaming so he didn't wake up his kids.
Oh, okay. So that's why I was wondering, he's not really putting his heart into it. Because I know Stephen A., he's very demonstrative. Because when Colin Kaepernick announced that he didn't vote after all of his kneeling, Stephen A. Smith went off. I guess the kids had already arisen that morning. So Stephen A. is saying the same thing here. And also, it says something in here that I think is quite interesting, which is that he believes that if he had done the thing in Flowery Branch, he'd have work.
25 teams show up in Georgia at the Atlanta Falcons practice facility, state-of-the-art facility, NFL personnel, equipment, everything, video, everything. And what does Colin Kaepernick do? Not Tuesday, when he found out about it, not Wednesday, not Thursday, not Friday, Saturday. 3 hours before the workout. Because of some issue with a liability waiver.
And then he has this to say.
He don't want to play. He wants to be a martyr. But guess what? It ain't working this time. All of us believe that Colin Kaepernick would have showed out. And if he had showed out, I'm here to tell you, I believe he would have had a job inside of 2 weeks.
I think he would have as well. You're getting to that part of the season, right? Mm-hmm. That's the reason the NFL went out of their way to do this. Everything is wrong, the wrong motives. Hey, Colin, you can't read minds. I say this about everybody. This is one of the things that's ruining politics. Oh, I know what he really meant. No, you don't. You can't read minds. The individual teams weren't willing to take this on, so the league set up something. 25? You could say that's everybody who needed a quarterback. There have to be 7 teams who just are fine. They have their starting quarterback, they have their backup quarterback, they're fine. 25 out of 32 teams show up, and he finds a reason. and then gets all arrogant and we're waiting. We've been denied.
Our biggest thing with everything today was making sure we had transparency of what went on.
Transparency.
We weren't getting that elsewhere, so we came out here.
Who's gonna bring this person into their locker room halfway through a season? Especially if the only reason you bring them in is because you think maybe you got a shot. I need a little something extra. I got a little something here. Maybe we're gonna make the playoffs, but we're very quarterback dependent. The guy gets hurt. I need something. I need some insurance here. Nobody's gonna start him. He hasn't been in the league for 3 years. This is such a load of BS. It's one of two things. Either Colin Kaepernick is unbelievably naive, which I don't believe, and is getting the worst advice if he really wants to play in the NFL, he is getting the worst advice in the world. Stephen A. Smith, pretty fair broadcaster, pretty fair sports journalist, but I'm guessing he's open to Colin Kaepernick's initial complaint that initially teams weren't bringing him in because of the name. I don't think Stephen A. Smith is, just saluting the flag here and saying you made your bed, now lay in it. I think that's a pretty sympathetic ear you've got, and an awful lot of other sports reporters. And you're losing them. So either he's getting the worst advice and the worst if he actually wants to play, or this is all a game. And it's been a while since the Nike thing, and it's been a little while since the Betsy Ross thing. And, Russia's had to shut down 3,490.
More like 38 million. We've shut them down.
Fake websites for your Betsy Ross.
By the way, you didn't bring that up.
What's that?
You're gushing over Colin Kaepernick on your show.
Not gushing over him. I'm saying he doesn't
blathering on about how great he is.
I didn't say that.
Ready for a team.
I didn't say that.
But what about his shirts?
Yeah, okay. Well, you got the Betsy Ross shirts.
Well, it upsets me.
I know it does.
What he said or my feeling.
What upsets you more? What Colin Kaepernick said about the Betsy Ross flag, or what all those fake websites selling the Betsy Ross T-shirt of yours?
It's the knockoffs.
It's the knockoffs. It's hard to keep up with all those websites.
All these people, like they know who Betsy Ross is. Get out. We make them right here, not Taiwan.
Yes. Well, you're getting a lot of love, too, Eric. And this open micer agrees with your statement on that.
Hey, Doctrinaires. This is Tanya from Holly Springs. Eric, I just loved your rant about Colin Kaepernick. And I know he didn't, but I hope he was listening, because somebody has got to tell him what's what.
It's funny, the same people who will complain about Trump's yes men, right? No one has more yes men around him than Colin Kaepernick. CNN on the Bloomberg stop and frisk policy. I wonder where they'll come down on that. I'm sure that'll be a fair and balanced.
So brave.
Now you get that on Fox News, right? Fair and balanced.
Yes.
I can't tell where they stand. I got to tell you, man. I watch Fox News. It's so right down the middle. I can't even.
Well, the weekend programming is very problematic.
Is it problematic?
Oh, yeah. The president doesn't like the weekend programming on Fox.
I don't like it at all. There's nothing to watch over the weekend. Maybe OAN.
It's boring.
OAN.
Weekend news is boring.
Yeah.
You got to kid me. It's people who will be stars one day or just will never go anywhere. They have the weekend shifts. And you notice if you're watching during the week, they'll have like 10 things that happen in 8 minutes. And you watch on the weekend, there's like 14-minute interview with somebody you never heard of. Like Eric Von Haessler, the time I was on a Saturday. It felt like it was an hour and a half. 12 straight minutes of being asked really stupid questions.
How do your voters feel about President? How do your listeners feel about President Trump?
Gosh, if I could go back in a time machine, I would have made that an interesting. Because I knew going in I probably wasn't ever going to do it again. And I would have made that interesting. I would have asked the host, because the host started off like, so what was it? What was it about taxes? The tax cut?
Yes, exactly.
So this is weekend programming. Oh, this guy in Atlanta seems to be making some. You know who he is? I don't know. He seems to be doing all right in Atlanta. Let's bring him in, and we'll ask him what his listeners are telling him about the tax cut. Yeah. Now let's knock off and get a martini.
You handled it well, though. You're like, well, I don't take calls.
No, well, and then first of all, I told you, and I don't blame you because they lied to you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, look, we don't take calls, and I'm not going to go on there and talk about I don't know what my listeners think about tax cuts, and quite frankly, I don't care. and so the guy said to you, because what's it matter once they've got me in there?
Yeah. I mean, once they've called the limo service.
Yeah, it's all over once they've called your limo service. So I get in there, but so Jerry comes back and says, look, they said it's fine. They still want you on. They won't ask you that question. First question. So Eric Von Haessler, they didn't even have WSB up there. It said Atlanta talk show host, Eric Von Haessler. So what do your listeners think of the tax cut? First, I said, I'm not going to speak for my listeners. I don't even think I mentioned that we don't take calls. I said, I'm not going to. I just think it's stupid that a host speaks. Who am I? I put on a show that's worth listening to.
We don't care about your opinion. We want to know what the opinion of the people that listen to your opinion.
Yeah, because obviously the only reason you would have ratings is because you're a traffic cop. You know how to direct traffic. It's got nothing to do with you and your personality and what you. They would never ask Rush Limbaugh. What do your listeners think? They would ask Rush Limbaugh, what does he think?
Well, I don't know what
this is Blair. This is Blair from Blairsville. I just want to tell you what I think.
It's Blair from Blairsville.
Hello, Blair. What's your carrier?
So I said that at first. I'm not going to speak for my listeners. And then this thing's taking so long. I don't know how many questions you could ask. And he comes back around to it again. So what would your listeners say? Say, hey, pal, how the hell do I know? I'm not my listeners. I'm me. You want me to go get them all? I'll tell you what. Go to a commercial. I'll go round up all my listeners, bring them into this little closet you've got me in Atlanta, Georgia, and you can ask them yourself. It's just boring. And then I realized, I did know this going in, but I should have done this. The guy who was the anchor, but he was also part of a lawsuit against Fox News, saying that he had been bypassed because of his race. Now that one, you took I ended up on there just having a generic, typical, nothing interesting kind of 12 minutes. How awesome would it have been if I would have said, hey, by the way, how's that lawsuit you have against the Fox News going?
What are your viewers saying?
Yeah,
yes.
What do your viewers think of the lawsuit that you have going against Fox News? Just throw some kind of, that's the only reason I would ever say yes ever again. And not to be dirty, not to be a shock jock, but just I'm never going to do it again. But if I woke up, maybe I was in some sort of amnesia, like it's a soap opera, and I don't know who I am, and somebody asked me to go on, and
I
go
hit
on.
with a coconut?
Yeah, and right before I go on, I get hit by a coconut again, so I remember who I am. Then, if that ever happens, I'm going to make some fireworks fly, but not by being a shock jockey jerk. Remember when that guy said boobs on that one show? Who was it? Was it not Aaron Burnett, the other one who's so full of herself. And she said, excuse me, did you say the B-O-O-B word?
That's right.
It's that woman that does the New Year's Eve show with Don Lemon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of her name.
She's the same one that a black guy said the N-word. They were having a conversation, and a black guy who was on the panel, this is how they can't handle any, it's supposed to be news, and they can't handle it. A black guy uses the N-word, and she started crying.
Yeah, it was Brooke Baldwin that got upset about it.
I'm a white woman, safely ensconced in the upper middle class, and you're making me cry.
Like Clay Travis, he works for Fox Sports Radio, so that's why, that's problematic.
Yeah,
you have to go after.
Remember that we ran into him after that. When we did the SEC thing, and we were in that Radio Row area. And that guy, I don't know what I think of him, but he was walking around telling everybody his name. Hi, what's his name?
Clay Travis.
Hi, I'm Clay Travis. How are you? Hi. What do you have, a calling card?
Here you go.
Dude, you're in Atlanta. What does it matter? You're not on in Atlanta. Is he?
I don't think so.
I'd like to know what his viewers think. Know what his listeners think. All right. That's the next time I'm going to say, well, what do your viewers think about having to sit through such a generic segment on Fox News?
All 6 of them don't mind.
Fox News?
Oh, 7.
Apologize.
Sorry, Mr. Murdoch.
Millions! At least 2. Why am I doing Rush Limbaugh?
Maybe 1 million, I don't know.
Look, he's coming on next. There's no need to... All right, we're going to go over and do the Podcast 30. You can join us if you'd like. Go to the WSB Radio Facebook page or the Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page. Click on the red box. You can watch us do the Podcast 30. Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Let me in. Music is awful. It's Awful Music Monday. Welcome to the podcast, Dirty.
Garbage.
Hey, this one's going straight to the rubbish bin. Yeah, she's rocking. She got a pacifier in her mouth.
Yep. She's rolling at noon.
All right.
She's not sweating, though.
Yeah, Autumn, I think that you would have been part of this crowd, by the way, if you were 19 and... No, actually, no, if you knew Jared... I think because they got they did that thing with just putting the pasty daisies on the nips and all that and going.
Yeah.
I could see. I don't know. I couldn't see you doing that now. I couldn't see you doing that now.
No, you knew me back then.
I did.
I was not like that.
Come on, Autumn. We would have had fun.
Are there MILFs at these things doing this?
No, boy.
Because I would love to see that. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Everything rolling and hanging.
Swing low, sweet chariots.
This is great music. Who are you, Jared?
You're a young guy. You look like my son.
What do you call those things? Not are they weather balloons? Not weather balloons. The ones at the airport. So the air blows through them.
The air sock?
Wind sock.
Yeah, wind socks. Like on a day with no wind. Just laying there. Well, it should be easy to kick field goals today.
No, listen, I have never been into new music.
Oh, that's right. You've always been an old soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could have come and we could have had a good time party.
No, I can always have a good time.
Oh yeah.
But don't you think you would have dressed up if you had the body back then?
I never showed my boobs.
Yeah,
around.
you're right. Well, there was that one photo that I've never seen, by the way, and never will.
The one Jared has?
Never will. Never will.
I keep it in a treasured favorites folder.
This goes with my whole thing about wanting somebody to stand up.
P0RN folder.
Yeah, exactly.
Wanting to have someone who stands up at my funeral who's relatively young and says, you know what, I knew him toward the end, and I got to say, not creepy at all. Not creepy at all.
He didn't even want to see the picture of my boobs. He was such a good guy.
He just wanted the Bills hat.
By the way, who else does that? I'm that good.
I'm not.
No, I know you're
Show
not.
me.
Now, listen, did Tim give you the opportunity?
No.
Okay.
No, he joked with me, and I said, whatever.
Right.
But it was enough for me to go, I would never.
I don't even have the hard drive. So.
And then he said, no, yeah, I was kidding. No, I'm kidding.
It's not that bad, the picture.
I'm sure it's online somewhere. I hope you cropped
it's not online
you
anywhere.
cropped your head out, right?
I wouldn't do that.
No, it's in a hard drive in a
what
dumpster
is it, like
somewhere.
a Law and Order VHS or something? Some
NYPD Blue Season 2.
Why? Why NYPD Blue?
Because
he was selling it on eBay.
I don't know what the statute of limitations is on
Are
all
you
that crap.
allowed to do that? What do you mean statute of limitations? She was 21, wasn't she?
No, not that.
What?
No,
I was a
why couldn't
promotions
you sell it?
director. We got boxes of things.
Oh, yeah, you can go to prison.
Take one or two home here and put it
Now,
on
listen,
eBay.
you're
was like 14
incriminating
years
yourself
ago.
now. Anyone could have just thought that you had a DVD you were selling.
Well, hold on. I mean,
It's
it's
not
like
theft.
Isn't it like 14 years ago? I think the statute
Longer than
No,
that.
you can go to prison. Yeah, I'm
so
sure.
I was wearing a hat, and I didn't have my shirt on for some reason.
Yeah, I wanted you to model for the eBay auction. Because guys were doing that then. There's girls who'd model a sweater.
Yeah. Now wait a minute here.
So yeah, I just put it in between my boobs.
I see. Actually,
The BOOBS word.
Apparently, Stephen Bochco has gotten word of this.
Uh-oh.
And, you are going to be sued. That was a Bochco show, right?
Maybe.
Maybe I got the joke.
He
wrong.
won't sue us if we send him a copy of the picture.
All right, that's right.
Well, he's going to have to go to the landfill in Marietta.
Yeah, right, Tim. Yeah,
oh,
right.
come on.
No,
Like, you
I got rid of the
destroyed it.
hard drive.
I jettisoned it into space, Autumn.
Do you keep your
No
old,
one will ever see it again.
Do you
Yeah,
keep your
I
old
tend to-
computer hard drive?
No, but I tend to keep the stuff off of it that I want.
Well, I go through them
All
and
my
take
good
out all the
pornography.
music. I don't do that. Music,
All those
pictures.
you don't do pornography.
No,
You do no
why would you save
This
your
wasn't
porn?
pornography.
No, I'm just saying. Look,
I mean, you save it?
at the end. No, I don't.
Okay.
Well,
Time
it depends.
capsule.
It depends. Like I can't think of. I had a good joke. I can't think of the actor's name anyway.
Tim just casts it aside when he's done with it.
Yeah,
What?
he's done.
He just gets rid of
Well,
it.
I tell people that browser should be a window. There's really no reason to save
Certainly
anything.
don't finish it.
No reason to save anything. Who was the kid in Walking Tall?
God, I don't know.
There was a big star. He became later.
Leif Garrett?
Yeah, that was my joke. I was going to be.
Oh.
Never mind. All the Leif Garrett fakes. I keep those.
Huh. I mean, gosh, you go back far enough, you can get those 16. Hey, I got a paper jacket on. Watch me unzip my jacket. Who's this magazine for? Little girls? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Tiger
hairless
Beat?
chest?
Oh, those aren't around anymore, are they? Tiger Beat?
I don't know.
Or
I haven't bought one in a couple years.
Well, the magazine industry. It's been hell. Been hell on the pedophiles.
Teen Beat, Tiger Beat.
Little girls did buy those.
Yes, they did, but also 45-year-old creepy guys bought them. I mean, those. You look at some of those. Just look online. The covers have to be online. You look at the Leif Garrett covers for those kind of things, which were
no hair.
Like in 1975 or 76, when you walked into a 7-Eleven or something, that stuff was all on the magazine thing. And I mean, that stuff was erotic. Like a 13-year-old doesn't need erotic, right? A girl, all she needs is a haircut, and and maybe he could be my boyfriend, and
a sweet smile.
Cassidy's nice.
I could kiss him one day, but these photos, this photo shoot stuff is not very. It's meant. I believe it was meant for the 45-year-old.
Okay.
And I was 12 at the time, so I'm in the clear.
Hey, it's Tommy from Alice on a motorbike, no shirt.
Yeah, 11-year-old girls really love that. That's what it's for. It's for 11-year-old girls. I wish I would have brought this up on the radio side. Maybe I'll repeat myself tomorrow. But this is the greatest headline. We had just plain dumb headlines, and that was headlines that are just plain dumb. And
wait, how does that work?
Well, I would look at a headline and think to myself, that's just plain dumb. And then it would be in the just plain dumb headlines. So now, not only are we going to get that as a new segment, but I think maybe we'll end each show very soon with the greatest headline of the day. And that can just be for any reason. If we had done it today, it would be this. Nicolas Cage is playing Nicolas Cage in a movie about, wait for it, Nicolas Cage. And then it's one of these BuzzFeed things. It's not a real article, but these millennials are dumb. You couldn't read an article about this. It's broken up with GIFs and one paragraph at a time. If you're a Nicolas Cage fan, I've got some fantastic news. Nicolas Cage is set to star in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, a new movie where he plays himself. And then you see Gwen Stefani going in a GIF. She's excited. I don't get this.
Why is Gwen Stefani?
Because it's a meme. I don't know. It's just that I'm excited.
She's excited.
Yeah. Because these people are dumb. They can't read an article. They have to.
Well, I didn't click through. I just read the headline.
It's like an applause sign.
So then they broke it down. Rather than an article, kids, we just have a list for you. According to the Hollywood Reporter, the movie seems like a whirlwind for Nicolas Cage's character. Here's what we know about the movie so far. 1,
It's about Nicolas Cage.
He will be playing himself. 2, he'll also be playing a fictional, egotistical 90s version of himself who will nag present-day Nick for making too many crappy movies and not being a star anymore. 3, Nick's character is desperate to be cast in a new Quentin Tarantino movie. 4, Nick will have a teenage daughter and will try to fix their strained relationship throughout the course of the movie. 5, Nick will also be under a mountain of debt and be forced to appear at a birthday party for a Mexican billionaire and a huge Nick Cage fan. By the way, every one of these has some sort of GIF. Nick will also find out that the billionaire is actually a drug cartel kingpin and get recruited by the CIA. Movie Nick will be up for the role of a lifetime. References to other movies.
Oh my God, is it a jokey movie? Because it sounds like they're just squeezing in a lot of different things.
And it's tongue in cheek.
I think it's tongue in cheek, but what it is, it's not so new, isn't it? The being John Malkovich.
Yeah, in the plot of The Interview. You're going over there to meet Kim Jong-un. We're going to give you something to kill him.
Oh, right. Is that what the CIA?
Yeah, because they find out he's going and the CIA gets involved.
Because the Mexican cartel. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah,
and then a coconut falls on his head.
Yeah.
You're really into that.
Amnesia.
That causes amnesia, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so if I threw a coconut in the air.
There's 2 things coconuts can cause. Sustenance, amnesia.
Okay.
Those are the
and
2
a radio.
Things. Yeah. A radio?
You can make a radio out of coconuts.
You can if you know the professor.
Yeah.
No one else has ever been able to do that. Only he died with that skill.
I just know the rest.
Unfortunately. Yeah. He's part of the rest. They say, hey, who's the rest? One of them was the guy who made the radio out of coconut. You think he could have made the credits?
Yeah.
What the hell did Lovey do?
Well, she had clothes.
Walk around
with money.
Yeah.
What did my money buy here?
A coconut radio.
Wow, well, I have all of them.
What are some other tropes that could be in this movie? Things you don't see anymore.
I got a good one. Eric Von Haessler doesn't go see it.
Well, that's every movie.
We do this right. We do it by the book, my way.
Wasn't with Jojo Rabbit. Man.
Yeah. Oh, he was a cop and he was a day away from retirement. And they had to call him back in to do something.
They clone him and then take the face off the clone and put it on the rib.
Yeah!
Face off.
Yes.
My real face on my real face.
I wonder how this will go. I don't know.
He's a baker. He lives in a basement,
Yeah.
and he
has
falls in
one
love with
arm
Cher.
or has some kind of crazy weird thing with his hand.
Yeah, one hand.
Yeah, what's
He goes, tries to find Peggy Sue. Never mind.
Yeah. She loves you. Do.
He pushes Matthew Modine off a building. You ever see Birdie?
Yeah, I've seen Birdie.
Oh, it can't fly.
Go ahead, Birdie.
I like Nicolas Cage. I like those first couple of movies. Valley Girl. Yeah.
Valley Girl's awesome. Birdie's good.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's terrible.
Well, it was a remake of a movie that was good.
Yeah.
Moonstruck.
Now, the tough movie.
Moonstruck was good and quick. You know,
So good.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas is the best thing he ever did. And
Tough.
it was like, well, I bet you better give me an Oscar because I'm doing Con Air.
Yeah.
Next.
And The Rock.
Oh, I like The Rock.
So do I.
I think Moonstruck, as I recall, is not only really good, it's really short. I like this. It's like an hour and a half. It's like boom, boom,
Oh,
boom.
yeah.
You can put up with.
Cher's really good in it.
Yeah, she's good in a lot of
It
things.
was before there was too much work
Yeah.
done to her face.
Her face wasn't nearly as busy.
Make me look like Rocky.
Are you Cher or Kamala Harris?
I don't know.
Sheris.
Cher Harris.
Sheris.
Yeah, Tim, who's the
Kamala
impression
Harris.
that sounds like Barack a little bit?
What?
It's Kirby Smart.
Oh, okay, yeah, there's somebody who like
does.
slips
He does
into
actually.
Barack.
Oh, really? It slipped into.
Well,
I don't want to be chopping wood.
There's now you sound like
I don't want to be chopping
Steve.
wood. I do some wood chopping. Yeah, come on.
Little chappy.
Little choppy wappy. You know I slept with 420 women. Yeah, come on.
I know.
Yeah, 420. That's 410 more than you.
I always felt like I didn't add up.
I win.
You know me. I've always slept with 387 women.
Ugh, wuss.
Still, I win.
Nothing.
You, Jared.
Where
are you at?
Yeah, I've never maybe met the guy before. I've
never maybe met the guy before.
I've
never maybe met the guy.
I've never met the guy before.
Wow.
Well,
working in radio all these years, you should have met him.
I know, it's surprising. Never met him before.
Just go to a Rock 100.5 remote, even if he's not there, and go, hey, where's Steve at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you'll fit in.
Back when I was with the regular guys, when I was thinking about, writing because what you always think about writing a book.
Mm-hmm.
My working title for it then was "Where's Steve at?" Because that's what I would hear almost
All
everywhere
the
I
time.
went.
Hey, where's Steve at? I don't know, man. I'm at church.
I said, "Where's your grammar at?"
Yeah. I don't know.
Hate that.
Where
Ending
at
a
is
sentence
Steve?
with at. Yeah, like that. That you don't need the at. Where's
Steve? Where's Steve?
Yeah.
Where's Steve at?
At where?
Do you mean exactly
Steve is.
where's he at? Like geopolitically?
Where's he stand
Yeah,
on
where's
the
he-
Trump?
Like where is he? Geo and politically, where does he stand on Trump, and where is he standing exactly on the surface of the earth?
I'm at
while he's-
latitude 1652, longitude 1942. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on.
Latitude, longitude.
That's right. 1.69.
Tropic of Awesome.
I had the. I remember that. Did you ever use that mnemonic to remember? Latitude was fatitude, and longitude. That's it.
I just knew long meant.
And then the other one would be the other way.
Yeah,
You see,
lat is
you were
flat,
lazy.
long is long.
Yeah. But
I
I
didn't have
gave
trouble
the other
with that.
Huh?
I didn't have trouble with that.
Well, once you know one, you know the other.
Yeah.
That's why I
Well,
don't know
what's
why
the
I needed
one-
to do both.
There's something
Latitude,
about your
fatitude.
back.
Your back.
My back?
Yeah,
Well,
like
I
your
shaved
like
it
your
last night. It should be
spine,
fine.
It's longitude.
What are you talking about?
There's
It's like
there's
your
something
spine
that was
is like, and then it's like you go over to the international date line, and your spine is
Are
like
we working our way towards chakra talk?
No, there's something.
Greenwich
back,
Mean
the
Time for
Tropic
your
of
back.
Capricorn.
No, what's in your back?
Yeah.
Tropic of Cancer in your back.
There's a Capricorn in your back.
The line of demarcation where the Pope said that Brazil has to be Portuguese, but the rest has to be Spanish.
What
are the things in your back called? The bones.
They're called
backbone.
Backbone.
Yeah, no, the little
the spine, vertebra.
Discs. Vertebra.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not
vertebra.
vertebrae.
Vertical.
Not vertebrae.
That's what I was thinking of. Vertical.
Oh, yeah.
Vertebrae.
Yeah, it seems to have
See,
worked.
I was getting there
Seems
somewhere.
to have worked. It stuck with you all these years.
That was a long way around.
Hey, Eric, here's my mnemonic. What's that thing in your back? It just
Listen,
jogs
you have
the memory
dad
every
jokes.
time.
You have dad jokes,
I do
and
not
I have the
dad
mom
jokes. This is an insult.
Hey,
I have a mom brain. It's like, what's the thing with the lady and you saw her? Remember so-and-so's cousin?
It's that Norm Macdonald joke about the rose. You know that one?
Mm-hmm.
You know the one I'm talking about?
I think so.
No.
It's what is it? It's about. I don't want to tell his joke, but
Well, just tell it. Everybody knows.
I can't remember it enough to tell it. But it's the
sounds like
guy with he's an old guy and he can't remember things, and he gets a pill for his memory.
Uh-huh.
And then somebody asks him, "What's the name of the pill?" And he can't remember. And he goes, "What's?" This is a Norm Macdonald joke. I'm telling you, this is not. But he says, "What's that flower?" And he goes, "Tulip." No, it's like it's another flower that. And he says another flower. And he goes, "No, it's red." And the guy goes, "Rose." He says, "Yeah, that's it. Hey, Rose, what's the name of that pill?" Purely a Norm Macdonald joke. I want to stay it. I hate telling other people's jokes. But what's he doing? What's Norm Macdonald doing? I sense he's slowing down lately.
Doing much.
That scandal knocked the crap out of him.
You got to find him on Instagram. He's doing tons of fun stuff.
Is it funny?
There. Yes, he ran a marathon recently, I think.
What?
Oh, is he clean?
I don't know if he's clean.
What I mean is he gambling?
What do you mean am I clean?
Clean? He was never a druggie, but although I
Sorry,
think
I didn't mean I meant gambling.
I think I like the Xanax.
If by clean, do you mean am I gambling? Then no. I need to work on that because
so that's just Roseanne Barr as a man.
Yeah,
kind of with a little more.
Oh, it's Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, she speaks faster.
Yeah, she talks faster, but then she slows down at the end.
She was kind of nuts on the most recent interview she did with Rogan.
Oh, really? What is she there for? Like 3 hours?
Another one?
Yeah, 3 hours. Yeah, it was the second interview. Yeah, I'm just doing.
Was she like going off on Palestinian?
I used to have a
authority or
pineapple
something.
farm.
Hey, Roseanne, I appreciate it. It's
What?
America. Nobody gives a damn what you think about the Palestinian Authority.
That's because they all hate the Jews.
When did she become like
yeah,
this?
9/11 was an inside job. So.
Yeah, it's just we don't want to hear this nonsense.
She
just
can't
tell jokes. Tell jokes.
She did mention. The reason she was on there is she was going to do that tour with Andrew Dice Clay, and they were going to do this tour.
Was it
around
be like politically incorrect tour? Or
it was those two, yeah. It was like the whatever, and the people at ABC said we would appreciate it if you didn't do this because if she does anything else and it gets out to the public, anything untoward or whatever,
it could still hurt the Connors.
No. They'll yank. It'll hurt the Connors, but they'll yank all of her residuals for Roseanne.
Is the Connors?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
They probably signed her for multiple years
Well,
in
she
order
made
to fire her.
Tons of money off of that, and if you stop airing it and take away her residuals, I mean, she has a contract. You can't do that, but you can stop showing it.
The Connors.
The Connors is big enough of a hit that it can keep running.
It's a hit, huh? I've never seen it.
It's in the top 20, 50, I guess. I don't watch it because I watched it for her.
Right. Well, you like what's his face, but
I like John Goodman too, but now he looks like an old lady.
Yeah, he's melting.
He's lost weight. It's good. It's a good
I know,
thing.
but he also is older.
He's
You
too
get more
big.
circulating estrogen.
Yeah, well, that's
Things
going to
get
happen.
weird.
It happens to all of us.
I'm playing Roseanne now. Dan? Yeah? I want you to clean the garage. Okay, Rosie.
He's doing both parts.
Yeah, that'd be
fantastic.
Yeah, one man Roseanne.
They just put him in a muumuu and he just.
I'm a one-man. Yeah, I put it on there.
That's right. Dad, it's me, Becky.
He does all the characters.
That's what I mean.
Everybody's pissed somebody off.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, I think I'm a lesbian.
Does he need
I'm Aunt Jackie, and I'm dating a cop.
I was surprised that he would stick around. I thought he just came back because it was a lark and it was kind of cool that people wanted it back. But John Goodman doesn't need that money, right? I mean, he's in
what's
big
he doing?
movies.
What else is he doing?
The Righteous Gemstones, in which he's very good.
Kind of a pain in the ass to do a weekly sitcom thing. My understanding.
He did it for her.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised. Then I guess the rest of the cast, because a lot of those people, they didn't have work for years.
How do you turn down that
and
money?
Now all of a sudden, I guess it's good money. I'm surprised that it's a hit. I don't know. I'm surprised anything's a hit in sitcom comedies that I watch. They are so unfunny.
Most of them, yeah.
I mean, the writing. I told you about that Carol's second act. I tried to watch some of it because Kyle MacLachlan is on there. And watching him do horrible sitcom patter is, surreal. And I read an article about how, I guess, Patricia Heaton, her husband is like 64 or something, and he's one of the producers of the show. And there's been complaints against him that he's handsy, touches the ladies. And someone who is described as a female writer said that she complained and that she was humiliated. And I just thought, what, are you kidding me? You should just be humiliated that the word writer and you were associated with the material on this Carol's second act. You don't know what humiliation is. I wouldn't let anybody ever even let anyone know that I was even a part of this. You got to watch this show.
That bad?
Well, first of all, we make jokes about the Big Bang Theory or something, right?
Sure.
But you can't say the actors are good, right? They're doing their part well. It's just that if you remove the audience, the canned laughter, and you listen to it, you realize these aren't really jokes. They're just prompts.
Do you think that it's
a
rhythm too?
But with this one, it's no jokes, and the acting is horrible on top of it. But these just aren't jokes. It'd be like the idea of a punchline is one person looks at the other person and goes, "You got to be kidding me!" Ha! It's like, why is that a joke? It's like Sinbad's material. Remember Sinbad? Is he still around?
I don't. You know what? I liked his stand-up when I was a younger kid.
Yeah, well, but his stand-up
he does a voice on Steven Universe.
There was no punchlines to me.
No,
it was just like when you're standing in line at the McDonald's and
then your mama comes and
slaps you. Yeah, and then
when you're 14, a big goofy guy.
Yeah. He doesn't really have a punchline. I guess he's likable enough, and people like him on stage.
He's the cab driver.
This is not anti-Sinbad.
Thing.
I believe that he appeared in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which makes him cool to me.
You got to watch the most recent one.
You're gonna love it. I'm gonna miss it.
You're gonna love it. It's funny.
I was busy, man. Last week I was traveling.
Eric, you gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it.
It's the best show.
The gang has a jumper.
Okay.
Why aren't you guys watching
Top of Patty's?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in.
I can't get in. There's a jumper on the building.
Got to pick up Star Wars Mandalorian too.
That
was
good.
Is fantastic.
Oh my God,
I'm watching it today.
That had good.
Fantastic.
That guy you brought up, Taiki Wagwalula, that guy from New Zealand. He plays one of the droids in it. The voice of the droid is fantastic.
Dude, this guy's so funny as Hitler. I mean,
who isn't? Hitler was funny.
Well, it's a natural. It's an easy comedy.
Hitler was not funny as Hitler.
Listen, man.
No. The only unfunny Hitler was Hitler.
Guys, everyone's sense has been quite hilarious. First one, no sense of humor whatsoever.
Ugh.
So
wet blanket.
I gotta tell you, I really maybe on the radio side it's a wider audience, and I guess maybe you have to. I got home and I looked it up and it seemed like there were mixed reviews, which I cannot understand for Jojo Rabbit. Everybody in that theater just kind of sat there, like just thinking, "Wow, we just saw." Just a great, great, great movie. I can't. There's nothing I can think of. You know, like you like a movie, but then you go, they just would have done this. Would have been better. There's nothing I can think of that would make this movie better. I just think it was just unbelievable. And when I didn't read any of the reviews, but when I see it, I think this can't have anything to do with filmmaking. This has to do with cultural sociology professors, maybe. Nazis being seen as human beings or something. You know, what's interesting is, and it's not a big thing because this is not a political movie. It's a human condition movie, which all great movies, all great art is human condition stuff. But just as backdrop, the Americans are just saviors. Wonderful. Just, so that's not going to be accepted. I guess you do have empathy for some of the Germans in the movie, but it's all within the context of, I walked out of there walking on air. I got to tell you, and even once you get about 3/4 of the way through and you see where it's going, and it becomes pretty obvious how this movie is going to end. What I mean by that is, really, you can kind of figure out, they've been setting up. This is how it's going to end. And it does, but in a way that completely is understated. Like, it could have been very grand, the way that this movie was obviously going to end. And it does end with that idea, but it's done in such an understated way. Like, you could imagine almost every other writer and a director putting it on this grand scale that probably still would have been effective. But by sort of bringing this, I don't know this guy, Tekka. What's his name? He played Hitler.
I can't say his name.
Yeah.
But he's done a lot of good stuff.
It makes me want to watch Thor Ragnarok when I found out he directed that movie.
But even more than that, watch What We Do in the Shadows, because that is so funny.
I will watch. Is he in it as well?
Yes. And so is Jermaine Clement. Do you like him from Flight of the Conchords?
Yeah.
They all play these vampires, and they're all dysfunctional. And
I'm telling you, man,
they're like real life vampires.
Did I say this earlier? Because again, I don't know what I say on the air podcast. But the next morning, my wife's taking a shower at the Airbnb that we're at, and I started thinking about the movie again. I started crying again. Like, I mean, that movie just stuck with. I have not seen a movie this original and well done in a long time.
What did Jane think when she came out?
Oh my God! Oh, she thought I hit it. I'm a man.
Yeah, you weren't like in your pillow.
No, it wasn't like that kind of crying. I was just because I realized
just a couple tears flow, not the sloppy crying. Sloppy crying is not fun.
I mean,
you had the Native American single tear going down.
Believe me, there is one part of the movie where you'll just go, but it's a blending of just horror and beauty. You know, like it's amazing.
Oh, I'm 96.
Oh, go ahead.
Sunday or Monday?
Sunday. Why you wait that long?
Because I can't go until then.
Yeah, take the kids.
It's
a fun little family.
They don't know him
from
from Nazis.
Audience score on Rotten Tomatoes 96%. The tomato meter only 79%.
Yeah, because critics suck. Right. So I'm that right. It's because they don't like. First of all, everybody's white. Yeah, well, it was Germany in 1945.
Here's one of the critics here, James.
I don't want. I don't want to hear it.
It's quick. It's one sentence. The ingredients are appetizing, but the final mixture curdles. Is what he says.
No, it does not. The final mixture is magic. Magic. The thing starts in such a way where just immediately you think, okay, this is completely original. And Sam Rockwell, who's
awesome.
Great in everything. Scarlett Johansson. I mean, unbelievable. And this kid who plays a 10-year-old, I don't know who he is, but unbelievable. And the girl who plays the girl, which I don't want to tell you who she is.
Yeah, don't say anything
I don't
else.
want to ruin it, but you got to wait a week to see it?
Well,
take tomorrow
what else
off.
Can I do?
See it tomorrow morning when you would normally be doing this show.
Okay. Is that a cool I can do that?
Hey, you get the cheap movie prices, matinee.
I don't think they're playing at 10 in the morning.
Anywhere. I'll wait outside.
Is it still playing at lots of theaters? I saw it at an art house. Is it still playing at regular theater?
Fancy pants.
No. In Rochester, there's a place called Little Theater where all the good movies are. Started out as a one-screen place. Now they have 6.
Yeah, up there, though, you had to go to where we grew up. You had to go to Ithaca to see a film like that.
Oh, they are playing at the Midtown Arts Cinema. So 105, 315, 530, 730, and if 9:50.
I don't know if your girlfriend will like it. I don't know if you'll like it. I don't know.
I probably will.
You know, some of the references, first of all, you have to know that the Beatles and all the bands back then, a few years later, all their hits were done. They had German versions of their hits that they sang, you know.
Yeah.
The opening credits to me are so original. Just so original.
No more.
Okay.
Well, you're going to give us too much.
I got to wait a week for you to see this damn thing.
Well, what can I do? Come watch my kids.
Download the torrent. I mean, go see it in the theater.
I can't. A lot of those are just cams, and they're really horrible. Or they're like from China, and they have weird advertisements.
You're not looking in the right spot.
You want to? No, you don't.
Tell me where to go.
No, do not watch this movie that way. Go into a theater. It's made to be seen in a theater.
I watched The Martian from a cam.
Well, you didn't lose anything.
Yeah, like potatoes.
And then also on a computer screen that was changing because of the time of day.
Oh.
So by the end of the movie, it was like really dark and orange, and we didn't notice until later.
So you're saying did this guy direct The Mandalorian? Is he Or he's just in it?
No, he's in it. I don't know who directed the first episode. The first episode was written by Jon Favreau.
That had good press going into it, the idea being that it wasn't completely woke. All these things
not at all. It's a half-hour long. It's a Western.
It's like a police force, right?
No, it's a Western. He's a loner. He's a bounty hunter.
I don't remember the Mandalorian line.
The Mandalorian's
from Star
a
Wars.
race. Boba Fett is a Mandalorian.
Okay. Because I like Star Wars, but I just like the movies. And by the time the next one comes out, I don't remember the.
Oh, this next one's going to be the biggest train wreck.
No,
in history.
I know, but I mean, I never know.
We know.
I never know. I don't know. I can't remember the timeline of Star Wars. I just know that
you don't need any of that for this.
Shoot him up, and
Nick Nolte plays this little monster.
It's ridiculous that Han
Solo.
Really?
You could go into this thing and start completely fresh.
Yeah, you don't need to know anything.
And I mean, it's one of those shows too where again, I'm sitting there with Christina watching it, and she's into it too.
Okay,
like
first
that.
of all, Christine is making him watch everything on Disney Plus.
Watch Fox and the Hound last night.
Fox and the Hound.
Which, by the way, what a strange message that movie is.
I never saw it, but I'm gonna tell you
separate but equal is what it is.
Well,
that's the way things are.
It's just this Christina. You gotta. She's gonna sit. She's gonna quit her job, and just sit on that couch, and watch every 7,500 hours of Disney.
Go get me some spanks.
Should have kept that vault closed. God dang it!
If she had, you wouldn't be in that condition.
What'd you say?
I said if she hadn't,
it wouldn't be in that condition.
Yeah. If she had, never mind. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Do you know what you're saying?
No.
Oh, because you didn't change your diet again.
How do you
He's
know
got the poison. He needs to get the poison out.
He's got the vapors.
I do something else to get rid of the poison.
You've got the vapors, don't you? Look, he can't even make it to the. Look, he's a grown man. He's not a child. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Control your organs. All of you. Control your organs, people. Your responsibility.
Elton had an organ.
Elton had an organ and a piano. All right. Gosh bless. Goodbye. And we'll see you on the horizon. Two.